Yo, we ready? Let's go.
One, two, three into the fold. This that ruthless shit mixed with death row. This that future shit back from 9-4. I'm on my way back to the base, so homie tell me when to go. So woofers in the trunk, all the future in the funk. I'm the man, I'm the myth, I'm the legend, I'm the one. All I need is one mic and one gun. And a maniac beat to have me rising like the sun. I'm second to none like DJ Quick, D&K. But I'm the first one to move a bitch nigga out the way. Strike your name up, then cross it out with a K. Appetite for destruction, a new WA. Maniac got the beat sounding like it was done by Dre. Therefore, I'm the only one can spit it this way. Anybody K, that's what everybody say. I'm the
Yeah, welcome to Let's Talk About It on a Monday night. G-Lew, the homie Big D, live starting shortly.
Product of the night.
Bang that like button. Bang the like button as you come in, please.
Product of the night. Male bald, wearing a black jacket, blue jeans, white gym shoes.
Hey, politics. Get no, let's talk about it. Okay. Okay. Okay, check it out. We are here. We are here. Yeah, we are here. It's G-Lew. I'm with my homeboy Big D, and we're here to talk about it, people. What's popping, everyone? Big D.
What's happening?
Hold on. 1 second, Big D. 1 second. Right. Okay, there we go. We are here.
Mic check.
2, mic check. 1 2 1 2. What's popping, my boy?
What's up, gente? What's up, people? How's everybody doing on this Monday evening? Appreciate you guys' support, tapping in on the Monday night. This is the way we get the week started. Ain't no bullshit, over here. You know what I'm saying? We keeping it real. Hey, appreciate everybody supporting my boy, the G-Lew Show. We back at it again. So, so relax, kick back. This is going to be a rough and tough one right here. So rough, so tough. Nobody really likes to politic, but I think it's very important because it's that season again, and your vote does matter. Trust
that part.
I'm saying
that part. Thanks, Chef. That part. Big D. So break it down. What's going on tonight, my boy?
Well, before I get started, I just want to give a big shout out to all those, the supporters and all you who come in every week by week, day by day, supporting not only me, but the G-Lew Show. And we highly appreciate it. Shout out to all the sponsors that come and contribute to this channel and mine. And we just taking that love and that exception, man. We keep getting, we keep growing, we keep getting stronger. And we want the real ones here. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect. But don't come in with that bullshit either. You know what I'm saying? Why you bullshitting? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, appreciate you guys tapping in. This will be one of those. Make sure you guys just kick off your shoes and relax your feet. Whatever you're doing, get a cup of water, get a cup of vino, whatever you do. We ain't judging on this part of town, you know what I'm saying? But we got a strong one. But before we get into it, let's talk about it, man. How about a little bit of sports, baby? Oh, man,
Hey, sports yesterday, man, the games were crazy. Man, hey, all I can say is Detroit Lions, their head coach, man. Hey, I know you guys love him, but I know you hate him right now because he was supposed to kick that field goal, buddy. He's just a little bit too, he tries to play hardball too much, but it counted yesterday, my brother. You know what I mean? You were supposed to kick that field goal, man, but hey.
It was supposed to count when it needed to count, you know what I'm saying? So let's get into it, man, because I got a little bit issue with the NFL and with some other substantial sports.
A lot of people saying it was fixed, Big D. Well, let's talk about it.
Talk about it, baby. And that's what it is, man, because that's politicking already. That's what the topic is about. Your vote. Does it really matter? Politics. Does it really matter? Obviously and apparently, if it looks like a zebra, has stripes like a zebra, it's a zebra, man. You know what I'm saying? So, come on, man. Next year, Taylor Swift's supposed to sing at the Super Bowl. Like, it's just like, come on, people. And that's how sometimes naive we could be. So naive doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means it's the lack of education, We're not be knowing, and that's what this night's all about. So, it's about time to open up our eyes and make sure that we see those hidden things, because you got to understand people's narrative and agenda, it ain't always seem to what it is, It's a lot of times the lying, deceit, and it's all about money in the end, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm saying gas prices are high, food is high, and it's based on those who we put up there, in the Senate, as government, So like I said, y'all just kick back, relax. We're going to talk a little bit sports right now, but as, let's dive into it. As you can see that, this guy over here, he's already politicking already, representing, throw your set up in the air, throw your set up in the air for all y'all, you know what I mean? Throw your set up in there. I ain't mad at you. All you Cowboy fans, you know what I'm saying? Throw your set up in the air, man. Raiders are, they got their coach. They're looking ready for next year. So I'm about to go to Vegas with Pops next year, man. We got to
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it, But as I mentioned, guys, I appreciate all those who are going to come in, those later on who tapping in all across the states and all across the world, baby, because that's what we're trying to reach, right? The world, man. If you could dream it, it'll come true, right?
That part.
So, yeah, man, this weekend I tapped in, watching the games on Sunday. First game, I thought Baltimore had it, looking sharp and everything. That just goes to show you, man, it's just all the refereeing and towards the end, it just seemed a little bit suspicious, what I mean? Suspicious.
But let me ask you this. Do you think, because to me it looked like old boy was off. Like he played all this year, like he didn't even run the ball. Like he was scared to run the ball, like run it himself. Sometimes I wish he would run it. You know what I mean? So what was going on with that? Like it looked like Lamar was definitely off yesterday. You think it was the stage, he wasn't ready? You think it was suspicioso? Do you think it was some other shit? Like what do you think happened yesterday with Baltimore, man?
Well, let me tell you something.
He threw 2 interceptions in the end zone, but he dropped the ball in the end zone.
Right. Let's get into that real quick, man. It seemed the whole year was prepared, and it seemed like Baltimore was going to go all the way, right? That's who I had on my card, to see that Lamar Jackson was unstoppable to stop. They had a good core. He has a good line, good defense, as you can see, they had their superstars there representing, Ray Lewis was there to give them that, that big cheer. And they had the home field advantage, and, they had one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Good running core, a good receiving core, good tight end core, good defense, and it just seems nothing was clicking in that game yesterday. So, I couldn't tell or realize like if this was a BS game or what. And, one thing I would hate to realize that politics are involved in sports now. We already know we have our suspicions on boxing, and it's been a minute, but like I said, if it has stripes like a zebra and it walks like a zebra, it ain't a horse, it's a zebra. Let's be real on that one.
Let me play advocate now. Big D, what do you say to the people out there though Shout out to like DD in the chat. She's a Chiefs fan. What do you say about the people that just say the Chiefs have been there before? They came ready to play, and Baltimore wasn't. And Mahomes, you know, is just a better quarterback. And Kelsey showed up for sure yesterday. He hadn't been showing up, but he showed up yesterday. What do you say for the people who just say KC just showed up and Baltimore didn't?
Well, like I said, KC ain't no other team to put out either. You got to understand, they have one of the best defensive lines. They have one of the best quarterbacks, Super Bowl champion, should I say, one of the best tight ends, you know, in the game right now. So I'm not taking everything away from Kansas City, but at least make it a game. You know what I'm saying? Don't shut them out, because, you know, Baltimore is a little better than that. So I thought.
Right.
But, you know, with everything, with having Taylor Swift and, you know, in the fan booth and everything, it just seems, you know. I mean,
hey, it's different. It's different when it got Taylor Swift there. That's crazy though, man. Like Taylor Swift. I don't know.
You know, and it just seems like, you know, a conspiracy, you know, and that's one thing that I hope that, you know, especially in the NFL, you know, that, you know, you start seeing some, you know, things that are set up, you know, delegating in another way. You see it in baseball a little bit, you know, with these you know, players taking, you know, steroids and so forth, and, you know, who's really healthy, who's really, you know, fit, who's really this and who's really that. And, you know, it takes a lot to be, you know, playing sports, should I say. You know, sports ain't easy. There's a lot of discipline. There's a lot of dedication that comes into it. And it ain't no something that, you know, you put your body through some conditioning through war, to tell you the truth, for preparation for the season. You know, 17 games, 3 months is a long time for us. You know, us fans, it's really not, because, you know, we see it every week. But, you know, these people go through a lot of preparation, just like anything else, right? You know, they're preparing, you know, they have practice during the week, you know, they got games during the weekend. And, you know, 90 days is a long season, man, to tell you the truth. You know, 17 weeks, you know, you're getting bruised, you're getting bashed, you know, you're getting knocked out, ligaments are torn, bones are broken, you know, and sometimes spirits can be broken, to tell you the truth. It was very sad to, you know, to see, you know, the Detroit Lions losing everything and, you know, losing the game yesterday.
Oh, so hold on.
Go ahead.
Right, let me say. Well, first, let me address. DD said DD said the refs didn't make him fumble that ball though. Okay, so DD said let's get to that. But second, let me see the Detroit Lions. That was a whole different thing, because look, they came out. I got some homies from Detroit, like my producer Digital West from Detroit.
Digital West, baby, shout out to Digital West.
West, what up, my boy? I was thinking they won, and I'm telling him congratulations, my boy. All that, you know what I mean? Like I thought it was over. The next thing I know. Like, hold up.
It was just like, really? I mean, the first game, okay, like Didi said, you know, that guy kind of fumbled the ball a little bit. You know, I can understand that, but the second game was obvious, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the second game was obvious, it kind of draws back to the first game. You know, is this the way they wanted to set it? It just reminds me of the Rams and the Bengals Super Bowl. You know what I mean? In LA, Rams home team. You know, somebody got paid for that stadium, you know. So, you know, whether homelessness or not, ghetto or not, you know what I'm saying? Somebody got to pay. And it's us taxpayers that are doing it. So they bring that whole event and just sell out like in one day. You know, it's just crazy, you know. So in all reality, man, shout out to the both teams. I would hate to say it. Kansas City, you know, you're in it. San Francisco.
For the fourth time. How many times is 3 and 5 years of, and it's a rematch, right? Because they played a few years ago.
They played a few years ago. It's a rematch. Kansas City killed them. And that's what I'm not hoping for, to be honest with you, because sometimes when things are set up, it seems like these higher players, you know what I'm saying? No, they're going to know the route, you know, the course of how this game's going to start and end, to tell you the truth. And us fans, you know, we're just, in all speculation, just, you know, trying to see a good game that's just going to be a head-on, you know, collision between two good teams. I'm not taking anything away from San Francisco. I'm not taking anything away from Kansas City. But in reality, it's just like, man, is Kansas City going to whoop on San Francisco? Like, really?
Do you think, let me ask you, do you think, aside from the fixes and all that, do you think 49ers have a better chance this year than they did last time?
It's kind of hard to tell. It depends. If Taylor
I think
Swift. If Taylor Swift shows up, it's over.
you know Taylor Swift is showing up. If she's been to all the games this year, she's definitely gonna be at the Super Bowl. That's free promo, and like you said, that sets her up to do the Super Bowl probably next year, right? We know that. What up, you low? But let me see. My thing is 49. Their biggest attribute to me is that McCaffrey guy. I mean, I know they got Debo and all these, but that McCaffrey, call me, is a beast, bro. I gotta give him props, dog. I gotta give McCaffrey. That dude is a beast, homie.
I would agree with you on that one. So let's get more into, into the sports world. You know what I'm saying? Let's take away the politics for a minute away. We'll get into some politics, trust me. But let's just get into the real sport, McCaffrey is a beast. He's proven it all year. He has ran, he has, caught the pass and everything. And every time he has the ball in his hand, he's ready to explode, man. So that I cannot give away. That's a God-given talent right there. Right. Whether you like it or not, the 49ers, have a good, core, an offensive core around them. I think Prudy looks pretty good. McCaffrey looks great. Debo Samuel looks good. They got a good defense. So right. Is this a matchup that we are really looking for that's going to go to head-to-head, or is it kind of paid off? You know what I'm saying? Don't believe the hype, right? I remember, don't believe the hype.
Don't believe the hype. Yeah.
I mean,
but you know what? San Francisco seems to surprise me. Like it seems like they know how to come. Like yesterday, I thought that game was over. They did that a couple other games where they come back. Like they surprise you. Like I definitely thought that game was over yesterday, bro. And San Fran seems to know how to come back. But I would say I don't know if they could do that with KC. Like you can't play around with KC like that. But I don't know. This shit is like a toss up.
If you remember last year, this is what I'm worried about. When they went into the divisional round, Prudy got hurt real quick in the beginning and it was out for the game. Come on, man.
Right.
Really,
right.
Like what happened? Like we haven't even got an explanation from that, to tell you the truth. Well, one, I'm not a really 49er fan, to tell you the truth. So
right.
It's not that I was paying attention, but we're trying to revert him back to last year. He just had a couple high. He was in the huddle, had a couple minutes in the game, and he was out. And that was it. Like, wow, he looked perfectly healthy to me last year. He just, for whatever reason, it was just weird, awkward, to tell you the truth, man. And then who knows? And goes to the Super Bowl, and who wins the thing? Mahomes and the homies from Kansas City, man. So, shout out to Kansas City. Like I said, to me, it's a conspiracy, but for y'all, you got to judge it for yourself, man. You got to understand politics do, revolve in sports. I hate to say it. Boxing has opened it. Baseball has revealed it. And, you can't get away from it, man. If there's a lot of money that's in there, things can be rigged. Things can be changed. Things can be, for the other opponent for whatever reason. It could be for money sources, gains, and whatever the reason is. So, I hope not, to tell you the truth, that, politics don't become in the Super Bowl. And politics start coming a problem in sports, period.
Right. Yeah, like you said, it's always a problem. We don't never know what's really going on, but stuff is definitely controlled on higher levels than we know. You know what I mean? And then you got to think it's a lot of money being involved in shit too, whether it's sports bet, Vegas. It's a lot going on that we have no clue about. We just watch the game and yeah, and all that. It's a lot that goes on behind that. Just think of even the players and the money that's involved, even with all of that. It's a lot that's involved with a lot of these games and sports that we have no clue about.
Right. And that's the part, like I said, that hopefully nothing gets exposed like that, because honestly, us as fans, we would hate to hear that, Right. We would really hate to hear that, hey, that the better team was ready, but for whatever reason they lost. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're going to leave it at. This weekend, I was expecting a little bit more from the games just because I'm a fan. And just like YouTubers, subscribers and all that, sometimes as fans, we get disappointed for whatever reason, man,
Right.
But shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs, for the AFC Super Bowl, AFC champions, and shout out to, San Francisco for the NFC champions, So, we're going to move forward. We're hoping for a good Super Bowl in a couple weeks, and I'll leave it as that. As far as that, good gaming by the two teams, or actually the four teams, and the better team won. To tell you the truth, man.
Yeah, facts. Shout out to all the winners, man, and the losers. We know it's any given Sunday. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. So, you know how this goes. And with football, the only thing about football, like any other sport, you only get one shot at it. When you're in the playoffs, there's no 7 games, no best of 5. All that is one time, 1 year out, buddy. So that's the only thing about football. Maybe Baltimore could have came back and beat them next week, but you only get one shot.
That's it.
So that's just it.
That's how you can tell between the winner and the loser, man, is the score. You know, and the better team won yesterday, and we know who's moving forward, man. So.
Hey, let me ask you this, Big D. I was speaking about someone of this earlier. What do you think about that new thing they're bringing? Because, you know, after football, going to be dry for it. We got basketball, baseball's coming soon. But what do you think about that new venture with the USFL? Like they brought it to, they merged. So it's not going to be, do you think we can expect something kind of bigger and better, or just the same old? What do you think is going to be what do you think that's going to be about? Worth watching or what?
Well, you got to understand, man, sports bring a lot of revenue. Jerseys, tickets, you know, license plates, you name it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's representing their set, where they come from, what state, what city, and you know, therefore, there's a lot of money and revenue that's involved. You know, we've seen this before in the NFL, the AFL, right? We had the American Football League, and then you had another conference, and they merged.
Right.
And, anything's possible here in the States, you know, when it comes to money. That's just my opinion. Like I said, there's a lot of sales for everything, you know. You know, you got different players, man. You got, you know, we still like the throwback jerseys, and then we still like the present.
Right.
So as long as there's money that's involved, you know, they'll keep creating, man, which is cool. You know, let the other these little low ball cities, you know, get some revenue, make some money. That's how money is built. You know, to build
and then, you know, too, what I noticed too, there's no like all the other sports, whether it be baseball, basketball, hockey, they have like different leagues people can play in if they're not in the NFL, but they get, you know, they didn't get drafted or whatever. You can go to the G-League, or you can go to the minors, or you can go overseas. Football, they don't have that, bro. Like, they just, if you don't make it, you know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Because there's a lot of talent. There is. Yeah. There's a lot of talent, but there's only a certain amount of people that could get in because there's really no openings, you know?
Right.
So you got to go to another league and try to make some salary over there and show, you know, what God's given talent that has given to you. And maybe like Doug Flutie, when he went to the USFL back in the days, he became a quarterback. You know, look at Kurt Warner.
Perfect example. Both of them went to the Super Bowl. Both of them won Super Bowls, did they? Or I know Doug Flutie went.
Kurt Warner, I don't think he
Yeah.
So that goes to show you there's a possibility. Look what happened to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Went to Vegas, you know? Come on. Vegas thought it was never going to be even done. Politics, why? Because it's a gambling city, right? A lot of politics that are going on, just like we're talking about, real politics, man.
Right.
You people got to understand, man, you know, when it comes to politicking, you know, anything's possible, right? You know, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right? DJ Quick, baby. You know what I'm saying? But if it makes dollars, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And Vegas is hot right now. You know, they're bringing everything from Oakland and transitioning to Las Vegas.
I think they got a basketball team coming too, or so. I heard something else. No. The A's, the Oakland A's, they're taking all the Oakland, bro. Why are they doing that to Oakland, though, bro? They're taking the Oakland A's to Vegas too, bro.
Well, I hate to say it, when you have a poor community that's not contributing, nobody's going over to all the violence, gang violence, and you know, you get mugged just going to a game, and you know, just like, they'll take it somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's why we need politics. We talking about politics tonight, people.
You know, real politics. You know what I'm saying? That's why Oakland made a decision. That's why they went to LA the first reason, but say, oh shit, we got the same problems we have here. We have it.
You're right, and they got up out of LA. You're right though, because the real talk. Sorry to say, I just feel bad for Oakland because they're taking everything from Oakland, bro. San Francisco already took everything from them, but now they're taking whatever else, and it's just, you know what I mean. But I hear it's really effed up out there in Oakland, man.
Right.
Man, so I don't know.
That becomes who's the governor of the state, Governor Newsom. You know what I'm saying? Who's the mayor over there? You know, it all becomes of that, because if you're not helping the community, then what you even doing behind the seat? You know, right?
Yeah, the Warriors used to be in Oakland. I forgot about that. Damn, they used to, yeah, you're right. Now they're in San Francisco. Yeah, man. Prayers for Oakland. That's right, sis. Dang.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. And who loses again? The community.
Yeah,
the fans. You know what I'm saying? Those who represent, man. The San Diego became an issue too with the Chargers.
Yeah,
that's really about money, to tell you the truth. You know,
San Francisco, I don't understand Big D because San Francisco is a beautiful city, though, bro. I don't understand that one.
Well, San Francisco has money.
I mean, not San Francisco, San Diego. I'm sorry.
San Diego is just about greed. You know, they have money down there too. It's just that, you know, one hothead didn't lead to the other hothead, and you know, both didn't see it. So there's always going to be delegations and negotiations somewhere else. You know, we could will and deal another way, man. If I can't do it here, I'll go somewhere else, right? And LA is a big hit. You know what I'm saying? He found it like, hey man, I'll go to one of the big cities in the West Coast. You got to understand something, people.
They get rid of Newsom. I hear a lot of good and bad about
We're
Newsom.
Not there, people. We're not there yet. You know, we haven't even got there.
Okay. All right. Hold up, Denise.
Baby. Come on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know, hey, make sure you guys, you know, like, subscribe, man. Do us a favor, please. One more time for that
one. Like button.
And hit that like button, man. And we got a number right here, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We got a number. We want you guys to call in.
Because I know you guys have a lot to say, but, you know, don't be shy. Don't be scared. You know what I'm saying? You don't bite over here. We love on y'all. You know what I mean? Because your opinions do matter. I don't care if you're voting for Biden or not. I don't care if you like the Raiders or not. I'm just playing. My bad. You know what I'm saying? But you look at the scenario, man. LA has lost a lot of fans, you know, because the Rams have come and gone. Why? Because politics, money. You know, that's why they have a weak fan base in some sense. That's why there's two teams that are here.
They're all over the place. That's
Chargers and Rams, really?
Chargers and Rams. But I think the Raiders are still the biggest fans in LA, though, bro. But like you said, they're all over the place. You got the Rams, the Chargers. Oh, we got a call already.
There it is, man. Who's tapping in for that one time?
Press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Okay, who we got here? Caller, hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. What up?
I got the balls to make the call.
Hey.
I ain't
what
got
up,
the balls.
Oh, man. Denise. Next time you're trying to pull your pants down. I want to see that.
Hey. Oh, my God. Shout out to the homie Tony Ado. What up,
Keep
sis?
it real, baby. Keep it real. Shout out to Melvin, baby.
Big silent.
Nope. He's at work.
Okay.
Can't hear you guys.
Okay.
Nothing's tapped in. I don't know. But,
Go ahead, friend. Go ahead, friend.
Hey, well, what are you saying, though? Even though Big D said we're not there yet, talk your shit about Newsom, though. What's your issue with Newsom? Because I hear a lot of good and bad.
And there's so many gun laws that he put in place, and it's too much for me, you know. But you know, he just passed a law that you can jaywalk. Like, that's just something little, but it matters. You know, you're driving down the street at night and you freaking gonna hit them.
Right.
So I mean, now we gotta. Now
and prostitution, like they made prostitution damn near legal, right? So that's why they're walking up and down Figueroa like that. That's crazy. Yep. Now, that's crazy right there.
Not even that, Denise. What about Denise? What about Governor Newsom giving crack pipes and needles out? What about that?
Oh,
yeah, that don't make sense to me, you guys.
Wow.
So he needs to go. You know what? Like, just plain simple. Like, he has to. You know, I'm sorry, but. Biden too.
What do you say about the people who say Newsom?
I don't even know where to start.
But what do you say about the people? Because I hear a lot of people saying good stuff that Newsom does that they like. So where do you? How do you balance it?
There's nothing.
Oh, nothing.
There's nothing like what?
I'm just playing advocate for the people who may say he's. You know, I don't know. Let's talk about it.
I can't even say. There's just all the bad that sticks out more than the good.
Okay.
You know. I'm just saying that he changed a lot of gun laws. I can't even think of when I should have got on because I can't really think of what he's done. But he's done so much in the gun community, you know, that it just doesn't make sense.
Right. A little bit more than that. I think Denise can, you know, also agree is just gas prices, food prices, you know, rent prices. You know, there's so much stuff in California that's going up, you know, when it comes to mortgages, rent, and so forth. What about, you know what I mean, the laws, you know what I mean, border issue, making this place, you know, for immigrants to come over here and use our system and so forth. There's so much stuff that Newsom has done. You know, when it came to the COVID, everybody's wearing masks except him when he's going to his freaking dinner with his family and all that stuff. So you got to go by the truth. Right, we could talk about facts all we want all night, but the truth is, and when you're caught on camera and you're telling everybody to wear a mask, and you're freaking over there at a restaurant with a mask off, You know what I mean? What's the homeboy who says that? Mask off, mask off. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I forgot. Yeah.
Right.
And Governor Newsom.
You got to be an example.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Again,
he's
say it
not.
again, Denise.
No, he's just not. I'm just like, put signs up so I can see when, like where people can jaywalk, because I'm going to hit somebody.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No doubt.
That's crazy.
So you got all these people like over here where I live, like they're running across the street. It's like, oh, I forgot that's legal. You can do that now. Like, what the hell? There's crosswalks. Like, use them,
And what's their what's the answer for is there anything they're saying about the homelessness issue?
Homelessness is another. Well, yeah, get Governor Newsom out. Get somebody that's entwined.
That is a serious issue.
Everything has to be entwined with the community.
I mean, they're making them feel real comfortable being homeless. They have more than we do.
Right.
Like I was saying before, I used to pay $600 a month for insurance, health insurance, because I couldn't qualify for Medi-Cal welfare, right?
Right.
I just wanted Medi-Cal. I didn't want their money. I just wanted Medi-Cal, and I couldn't get it. And I was like, damn it, man, what am I going to do? So Melvin had that Cal Cobra because they just had laid him off, and we extended it for like a year, and that's what we had to pay. And I'm like, damn it, that was just for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I'm glad that Denise touched on that.
We have needles, they have pipes, they have freaking EBT. They got all kinds of sources that
people for coming from Mexico, and they're not only Mexicans. There's a gang of people that are coming through that border. Denise is right. Why do they get to use the system and everything's free for them? But coming off my pocket, your pocket, their pocket, we got to pay for it, and we can't even get that kind of resources for us.
Yeah. And some people tell me, oh, they don't have this and they don't have that. I go, yes, they do. They have therapies. They have, therapists that will help them. They have housing. They just don't want to abide by the rules.
Exactly. And that makes it a lot difficult for us because we go working hard and everything. They're freaking picking our pockets to pay for something that we haven't even agreed on. But see, this is what tonight's, this is an eye opener for all of us. You know what I'm saying? If you don't vote, how are you supposed to make an impact in your community?
Right.
Well, exactly. But now you get people, even though I think voting, we had more involvement. You got people now maybe going backwards now, saying what is the point? Like, how do you get people involved to vote? Because now people feel like, what are we voting for? What are we doing? Nothing's changing, and then they may feel like who are we voting for or whatever. Like, how do you get people back involved and going to the polls when they don't know? Because I think too, people need to focus on the local stuff, stuff that affects their community more than just the president, because even the people that vote, they don't even have a clue who their local people. Yeah. You just vote Democrat or Republican, and then you're president because you don't even know. And those are the most important things we need to focus on.
Right, because you're not on point on really politics or what's really going on. Because one thing that people hate to discuss is religion and politics.
Right,
straight up. You know what I'm saying? Because they know, in some sense of they we feel like we're getting judged. There's a lot of persecution. Who we judge, who we vote for, and that shouldn't even be the matter at all. We have the right. It's called the right. That means it's my choice, my decision to win. And I shouldn't be hating whether you vote Democrat or this and that. There's no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? We could agree to disagree, but politics have been gone so underground and unlighted now. It's just like throughout the years. I mean, where assassinations have come, the color of your skin can just, decide of what's going on, and who you represent to tell you the truth, and all these things take effect to people where they're like, especially our young voters, especially women voters. Yeah. They don't want to deal with it. They rather just sit by the scene, look at TV. Yep. The day comes, people vote, and they're like, "Fuck, he won." But had no input or intake in it.
No, yeah.
So how do we change that part, Big D or Denise?
Well, I was just going to add that, our Second Amendment rights, they're trying to change the Second Amendment. It's like, how do you change?
How do you change? That's crazy. You can't change it. How does that work?
You can't do that. And that's what Gavin Newsom wants to do. He wants to put, some kind of thing towards the Second Amendment where he wants to change it. Like, how do you change that?
You know what they're trying to do? They're
No.
swindling. It's called swindling. You know that word, Denise, from the calles. What they're doing is they know they can't get away with it. So the law's gonna be there because that's an amendment law, bro. That was back in the days, homie. You know what I'm saying? So what they're gonna do is go around it. Yeah, you could have your gun, but they're gonna input so many damn laws to make it so hard from it was. That's what
right now. You can't even buy
where they don't where you're gonna find out where you don't even want to buy a gun now. That's what they're trying to. They're gonna, in other words, they're putting discouragement in it. Oh, I never, Denise. You should know this, Denise. Ammo has gone to the roof, bro. You know what I mean? You know, back then, you know, ammo, it was real cheap. Now, shit, to buy ammo, I hear from a lot of gun owners, it is very, very expensive. Just like gas, just like food, just like everything else.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
No, that's
real politics right here. That's tonight's title that we got. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
You know, and let me
people
tell you,
be able to protect themselves because you see what's going on right now. People are running up and still like people are just, you know what I mean, taking advantage of people. So you definitely should have the right to protect yourself, man. You know what I mean? I don't, you know what I mean? You should have everyone should have the right to protect themselves. It shouldn't be an issue about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not only that, you got to
let's go door to door. Back to the voting thing real quick. Yeah. Unless you go door to door and tell people, come on and vote. They won't. People are set on like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
But
that's how they
feel. It
feel.
Really does.
It really does. But I think if we let them know, like you said, it's all about research. Though a lot of people don't do their research. I was even victim of that, like going to the polls and not really knowing who's who. You just vote whatever party and the president, because that's all you know. But we need to know who your local people are, because that's really who affects you directly.
Right. And that's what this platform is.
For example,
go ahead, Denise.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's what this platform is tonight. That's what it's all about, because a lot of us aren't paying attention. So we'll get information from other people.
Voting doesn't matter. What do we got to say to Eastside Paramount? Said voting doesn't matter.
It does matter, dude. It really does. I mean,
you know what?
At the end of the day,
go ahead, Denise.
Talk about it.
At the end of the day, it does matter, because no matter, I mean, you know, you have to vote. I just don't know what to say about that. It's like, that does matter. Your vote does matter. You know,
people die for that. People die for that shit.
That Trump, you know, there's a lot of things that people think that Trump did, you know, without doing their homework. They're just saying, oh, he put kids in cages. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That was way before him.
And not only that, like Denise is saying, if you don't like Trump, well, go vote and vote him out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your vote does matter. You know, that's one of our freaking civil rights here as a citizen of the United States of America, is to go out there and vote. See, you guys got to understand something.
That's me, Stomps.
You know that you look at people. You guys got to understand something. Me and G-Lew, you know, and Pops, we talked about this 4 years ago. You know, and we went out there. We you know, let's talk about it, man. You know, we demonstrated, like, we voted. It was, you know, you guys can go see our videos. And you know, for whatever reason, I voted for Trump and he didn't win. You know, I was very upset, you know, because I knew this was coming. But it didn't change the matter, you know, that I went out and participated. Where's everybody participation at? But you want to get mad when gas prices are high.
Hey, I heard Trump say today he's going to take gas to under $2. What did he say? $2.92. I don't know. DD said, I remember when gas used to be 99 cents. I remember that. Wow.
Hell yeah, I remember that too. That's 80.
Wow. He's the one that started the pipeline, and we would have had our own oil. Like when Biden got in, he stopped that.
Yeah.
Why would he do that? Just to get back at him?
Order stopping. Why would somebody prevent something that will help our country as citizens and you bring a stop to it?
Right. Hey, but look, I'm gonna tell you this though.
With the illegals too.
Yep.
I'll tell you this, whether you like it or not, I think Trump definitely he's about to come back, bro. I mean, I don't see anyone right now beating. I mean,
he is.
You know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, Trump is coming back. You know what I mean? What do you guys think? Let me ask you guys this, because I know you're both Trump supporters. What do you think about? Because some people say, like, how can someone with all the shit Trump has going on outside, how is it possible that someone like Trump being convicted and all this, and he had just lost a lawsuit, all this stuff can be a president of the United States. I want to ask you guys, being that, what do you say to those people?
Go ahead, Denise.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be overturned. It's all false narrative. It's all false. It's all false. What they're trying to convict them of. It doesn't
fake
make
news.
sense. Look at Biden. Look at Biden in the White House right now. They found freaking cocaine, right? I mean, that's his son had a gun. He freaking wasted so much money on prostitution. There's so much shit that he's done. Excuse my language, but why don't they go and get him?
Talk about it.
You know what I mean?
No. He said talk
pick him
about
up and take him
it.
to jail.
Oh.
It was in the White House. He's responsible for that.
Ooh.
No.
That's a little
And
Biden.
then
What's his
Trump went
name?
over there.
What's
He
my
went
man's
by the
name?
White House and
What's his son's name? What's dude's name? I forgot. So Hunter Biden. Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter got caught with the pack.
Right? And then cocaine in the West Wing. Come on
Cocaine in
now.
the West Wing. Damn.
Good Lord.
It ain't Sleepy Joe who's taking it. That's for damn sure.
So I asked, but look, my thing is this. That's why I said, like I said, whether you like it or not, Trump is coming back, because I don't see people, whether you don't like Trump or not, Biden is definitely not it. So even with the Democrats, where do they go? Because I don't see anyone that's going to go against Trump and beat him. The Democrats aren't showing anyone. Biden is their guy.
Yeah.
Biden is not it. So I don't know.
He's getting so many endorsements right now. He just has to get rid of whoever that lady is. I don't know.
But Biden is not it. Then he's too old too. Like, so what did I don't know.
He can't even talk.
Yeah, that's a fact.
He can't even talk. He shows us.
And he hasn't done anything. And I'm not, like I said again, against anything or anything, but Biden really hasn't done anything. And then the vice president, the lady, I know that all the ladies voted for, but she has been a no-show. I haven't even seen her.
Yeah, that's something that's very scary, to tell you the truth, because when China had those balloons going over, she made it like it was something to laugh at. And that's really nothing. When stuff like that's happening, that's something that's really serious, because you don't know what these other countries are thinking of. And obviously it is known because of what's happening and taking place across the world. There's war that's edible, that's already around it. There's rumors of this, rumors of that, and it just makes you seem, if you're laughing about some situation, this is not a time to laugh at. This is a time to be serious. And I feel like sometimes, in that White House, is a bunch of jokes. Not even that lady that, comes out and talks for the president. She don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
It seems like she's just saying whatever and reading off of whatever. And man, it's just like, you could tell, what's really going on.
Yeah. I don't like that lady. She doesn't answer the questions and tries to just go around it. It's like, look, answer the damn. We as the people need to know. Like, I think Biden only showed his face maybe like 6 times in 4 years. Like, he never comes out. He never says anything to comfort us as the people of what's going on.
Hey, Denise and Big D, what do you think about Paramount said war is around the corner, which we know, I think for years now, we feel it's been knocking at the door, but somehow we've avoided it. But some people think it's unavoidable, and sooner or later it's coming. So what do we think about that, and what are we going to do? Are we ready for that?
Well, I mean, go ahead,
that's why we need Trump in office, because he's going to do a lot. He's going to do a lot for us, like he did before. We're going to have lower gas prices, and then all the food and everything's going to take a ripple effect, and it's all going to be all good again. You know what I mean? And who knows after the 4 years what's going to happen? But I think it's going to be peaceful for 4 years, and then see what's ahead of that.
What up, Pomona?
Right.
Yeah, so
you got to understand something. War makes money, bro. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it, man. And everything's about resources, elements, right? The United States is greedy for oil. The United States is greedy for, aluminum or whatever it is, but not realizing that a lot of stuff is man-made in this country. We are blessed as a nation to have all those elements and supplies. And why would we go somewhere else looking for it? That just makes other powerful, and then taking away from us when we have resources here, just like Russia. They have built a lot of pipelines for natural gas to all the European countries, but if they get mad, they straight cut them off, dude. And what kind of resource is that? Because everything's about delegation and war. It's all about proposition and money. You know, it's all in the end. It's about money, bro. It's about greed. China has evolved to be becoming our competition and our competitor, and they want to use whatever we have shown them throughout the years. Because as a nation, you got to understand the United States has evolved since World War One, and not only that, a little prior before that, when we had our own civil war, when it came to slavery, when it came to, you know, racism, when it came to all our amendments and our freedom and our rights, a lot of stuff was made by that. You got to look at the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln has, you know, he's brought, you know, the black community off of slavery, gave them a chance to participate as a nation and to be revolved. And that's why our country has evolved to be one of the toppest, the toppest nation in the world. And let me tell you something, people, you're going to hear right here first. Let's talk about it. Right here, what you see, United States will be the last kingdom in the world, to tell you the truth. We have the Roman Empire, we have the Egyptian Empire, all these empires, but the United States is where it stands at right here. And like I said, for Biden to be our president, and they're
shit, Big G.
And Biden to be our president and to say that, you know, blame everything on Trump about this and about that. Look, there's war with Biden. Look what's happening in Israel, one of the holiest nations in there. How are you going to allow that to fight over there and stuff like that? That has never happened before. And you want to talk about Trump? Trump went to North Korea and stepped on their battlegrounds by foot. That's gangster move right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's been done by any president in their lifetime, dude.
Hold on. Let me say this. I know people are calling in. I can only take one caller at a time. So give me 1 minute with Denise, and then we'll take caller. You're good, Denise, but I just want to let the people are calling.
Talk about it, babe. Let's talk about it.
So just wait till we finish with this call, then I'll accept the call. I can only take one at a time. Go ahead.
Let me just say one thing again. So all the Raza needs to go vote. Trust me, your votes will count. Trump is not the person that you hear about on the news, on fake freaking media.
Besides getting arrested and all those freaking allegations against him.
They're all false. They don't even amount to what Biden and his son has going on right now. So that's a joke. But he will succeed. He will come up and he will be our next president. You guys go vote. I'm out.
Denise, talk your shit. All right. Shout out to my sister Denise, man. Much love. Thank you for calling in.
Denise, love you.
Now we can accept callers. Now I know people were calling in. Now you can call in. I can only take one at a time. That's why. So go ahead and call back. I know DD was trying to call in. DD got some shit to say. She's not in agreement, man. Let's talk about it. Let's debate. DD is not in agreement with Trump. DD, call in. Let's talk about it, DD. Let's talk about this shit. You know what I mean?
Lick it. I'm going to say this, man. Let me tell you again, people. The race has begun. The race has begun again. You know, and if you guys are not, you know, preparing, if you guys are not being aware of what's happening, then, you know, the sidelines is meant for you, man. You know, but you know what the sidelines are for? You need to be a water boy or a water girl, to tell you the truth, man. There's no participation in the battlefield. You know, right now we're fighting for our democracy. Denise said a lot of things about our rights, you know, gun rights. You know, yes. Talk about it.
Let me see. Hold on.
Say hello. Remember the party line back then?
Yeah, the party line, on the party line. Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Here we go. Let's talk about it.
First, let me just say, I am.
Let me go get some ice.
Oh my God! Here we go with Kansas City.
Let me get some ice for this.
Yeah, you know, keep all day, baby.
Love you, baby. Love you, Dee Dee.
I said I was not going to say anything on this show, but I am listening to all this misinformation. So I have to say something. I do not, and I do not think that Biden should be running for president, and neither should Trump. Both of those little old men both need to go take care of their grandkids.
Okay.
But anyone else, anyone in this comment can tell me what Trump did while he was in office, except for be a racist bigot, I'll give you $1,000. Just please tell me what he did. Now I can sit here and tell you.
Go ahead. You heard it here, people.
What Joe Biden did in 2 years. He did a bunch of stuff in 2 years that shocked me.
Wow.
Okay, let me just start with. Did you say? Go ahead, tell you what the little old man did, the little creepy Joe did in 2 years. Infrastructure.
There you
You
go.
see the roads and the bridges being built. 2, he said all these little kids in 2 years that got them out of poverty. Did he not do that? Let me see. When Trump killed how many people because he didn't take COVID seriously? When he came in and he made sure that people, everybody thinks that he didn't do anything with COVID. Why are we not in a recession right now?
Right.
Because why is the stock market higher than any other? If you look at statistics,
Right.
he has got more jobs. We have more jobs. He stopped killing people. He took this stupid, COVID thing seriously because he doesn't get on camera every day and treat the White House like a reality show. We don't get to see him. Now, I don't
Somebody
like the
got an
man.
echo.
Trust and believe.
You got an echo, Didi.
Things that he's done wrong. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry because my TV is on.
Yeah, cut
Got
that
2
down.
windows open, maybe. 2 windows.
A bunch of stuff people wrong. Do you know how many people of color that he has given jobs in high-ranking positions? I didn't know that till I'm writing a book, so I didn't know that till I started doing it. Now, I don't like the man either. There's a lot of things he's done wrong, but we're not going to sit and say that he's an idiot. But I can tell you what Trump did not do. You know how many people I know died of COVID because he acted like it wasn't real? You know that he always had a plan. It's coming in 2 weeks. It's coming in 2 weeks. The man is a joke, and he's a racist. I'm from New York. I know he's a racist. So like I said, I'm going to look at the comments. Tell me what he did in 4 years. Tell me one thing he did except for be a racist.
The people said they got money while he was there, Didi.
What money?
I don't know. That's what they said.
That's the thing. So did Joe Biden sent out checks right after Trump did. But Trump signed his name, and Joe's too silly not to sign his name on the check. Those checks came from Congress. They did not come from him.
Let me mention this about how you said COVID, right? COVID was one of the natural main disasters across the world. That hasn't been seen since the Spanish fly in 19-something, right? And as a president, you got to understand when it comes to diseases and let me finish.
Hold on, one at a time. One at a time. Hold on, Didi. Hold on, Didi. One at a time.
Yeah, let me finish.
Didi, let him finish.
We had one come
okay, Didi.
Obama was in office and he nipped it in the bud.
Didi, hold on. Let him talk and then you talk. One at a time.
So remember, when COVID happened already, especially with that doctor, what's his name, right? He hired him, one of the best doctors in the world, to see like, hey, what the situation was. You got to understand he was covering the situation, but at the same time, when COVID came in, Trump was on his way out. That was already his last months of presidency, whatever, whatsoever. Now, he led it to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden didn't do any better than what it is. Dr. Fauci and all that stuff. I mean, we already see what's going on. Not only that, people have took the COVID shot from that point on. People are dying 4 years later or having side effects and all that from what's going on, thinking that Dr. Fauci was God and things are right. Like I didn't get, the COVID shot. I don't know who you guys have, but there's not, sometimes, the delegation is like, why were people taking that shot? Was it a cure really? Or I hear a side effect. People are more side affecting and things are happening to them now that are being revolved in years later because, the COVID shot wasn't really irrelevant. That was just a solution, not really in the cure. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't just, they were just trying to resolve stuff fast. So that's why Trump didn't really jump on the gun and had talked bad about Dr. Fauci because Dr. Fauci took it to another course because you got to understand it's politics. They work together with other people around the world. Who has money right now? China, Russia, Iran. So all together, I hate to say it, in some sense, they work together, but it seems like, to a way where they got to delegate and resolve situations instead of compromising situations like Biden has. And look how China has developed and become one of our competitors because of what they have given and sold. And it's already been like, what Biden's son has done, it's a sellout. And people are starting to realize that. And I hate to say it, but things are not getting better. Under this administration.
Before you go past, I need to respond to you before you go past COVID was not only a couple of months while Trump was in office. It was almost a year because my mom died at that time, so I really know how long it was. It was almost a year. He was in office.
It was almost a year. It wasn't a year though. That's why I say
wait. He had not right. He had not lost the election because he'd have won again if he had handled it correctly. So it was about a year. because my mom died at that time, so I knew exactly when all that was. So it was about a year.
Are you saying are you saying that Trump lost the presidency because of the COVID?
He definitely lost. He lost the election because how he handled COVID, or he'd have won again. That's the only reason he lost, and that's the only reason why Joe was ever able to beat him, because how he handled COVID.
That's kind of hard to submit to that, because when he became president, he was freaking getting hit left and right since he was day one. This guy's been getting harassed, accusations, delegations against him since day one.
No,
no, I ain't saying I agree with everything President Trump says.
It wasn't since day one. It was since he told the guy that to find some dirt on Joe, because that's who was running against him, I think, with the Ukraine. Somebody put in the comments that he did something for historic Black colleges. Baby, you need to go research that. It sounds good that he said he did that, but when Biden came into office, he had to fix that. And for you, he did. He told you guys a lot of stuff that he was going to do. I told you I wrote a book on this. It went to 36 on Amazon. He told you that he did all that for Black colleges. There were stipulations on that, and I don't want to say that on here because it's one was if you had gay students in there, they couldn't get that money, and then that's just it only lasted for a certain amount of time, and he didn't do what he said he was going to do. Also, that crime bill that he put into place. If you look at his new plan, anyone that he put that crime bill in, that was his son-in-law's crime bill that he put into place. He said now this new bill that he has coming out, everything that was in that crime bill that he put out for everybody, now he says that you'll die if you commit those same crimes that crime bill is for. And it's so sad, my people, that if I've known Trump for a long time, I didn't like Trump long before he ran for president. Do you know in New York that if you were brown or Black, that you could not rent a place in his building? He got sued when Nixon was in office, him and his father, because they would not rent to Black and brown people. That's when I'm in my family and my father are in New York. Do you know that he would hire Mexicans and Spanish people to build his casinos and stuff, and then he would not pay them? They would have to sue to get paid. So when I'm listening to you guys and everyone, my mother was so offended when he said that the people who come across the border were Mexicans and they were rapists. Oh my gosh, my mother was so offended. I do not know. He does not like us. The Central Park Five, this long before he was president, he pulled out a full-page ad on the Central Park Five, these little kids, and he wanted the death penalty back in New York. And these kids have been exonerated now. And while he was president, he said, well, people say they're still guilty. DNA proved them innocent.
It ain't no different from Kamala Harris, being the district attorney of San Francisco, California, putting all those people in prison for no reason. It ain't no different from Biden. What about Biden? Well, okay, look, let me get to one point, DD. Didn't Biden say something like 40 years ago about the Black community being a certain amount of people, and he said it publicly, and how he felt about them and discriminated about our African American people? He said things back then too. Why is that stuff not brought up either? You got to understand there's pictures. So you're going to tell me that he didn't mean it? That's the same thing like president says. You're going to tell me that Biden didn't say that about the Black community like 40 years ago, how they thought they were like whatever he said? Because I know what he said, and you could go back you could look that up. Both these, when presidents
answered that question about Trump and Black colleges, Biden came back and said, he apologized. But you know what Biden's first job was? Biden did come and say, I shouldn't have said those things. But Biden also, you know what his first job was out of law school?
Yeah, but did he say it though? Did he say it? Yes or no?
He said, he said that he shouldn't have said those things.
Okay, well, Trump could say that too. I didn't mean it. So what's the difference?
But did Trump come and apologize?
Give what?
He said, did he apologize?
I said, did Trump come and apologize? Now, I don't like Biden either.
So let me say this. Let me let me say this, my part. I ain't on either side. I don't fuck with the politics. I mean, I voted. I'm a vote. But I'm saying my point is this, man. We got people at the end of the day. DD is over here ready to like straight do it. Who ride on y'all? You know what I mean? So my thing is, how do we get to a medium? Because we got people arguing over Donald Trump who don't, both of them really, at the end of the day, don't care. No, listen, but what I'm trying to say, how do we get to a medium? Because just like you said, DD, you don't even like Biden. So it goes back to the point to how do we how do we get to the people, the new voters, to make them know what they even want to do? Because you see a lot of people in the chat say they don't even want to vote. Voting is bullshit. You know what I mean? Because this is the same thing. You even said you don't like Biden, you don't like Trump. So what do we do?
Yeah, I want to know that part, Didi. That's my question. So if you don't like Trump or Biden, who are you going to vote for?
It's like you want to just, people feel like they got to vote for the lesser evil at the end of the day. And how do people come to a medium?
You're not riding with them. You know what I'm saying? That's the part I want to know. So if you're not for
Biden, medium, how do we understand? Because we're ready to fight each other over politicians, man. That shit is crazy.
I would never fight
no,
over.
but I'm not saying that, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? People are going hard. You're going hard right now, Didi.
You know, the black and then deporting people. Well, this is what I do, and this is I always have to. What do you stand for? When you're talking about feeding little kids, when you're making sure old people get paid, when you're making sure we have after school programs, you know, when you make sure, like when you're saying when these little kids are on summer break, they get fed. This is what I vote for. You know, when politicians are making 6 figures and kids are going hungry, that's what you vote for. So, like I said, it could have been a brown paper bag. You know, when Trump is making sure that the rich people, we went into $15 trillion, $9 trillion in debt because you get a tax break on your yacht or your airplane. I don't have a yacht or an airplane.
So you're telling me that Nancy Pelosi and all these other politicians on Democrat side, they don't use that kind of advantage either?
When you listened to my show last night, I said Nancy Pelosi needs to go.
She's already gone, supposedly.
I wouldn't have voted for Nancy Pelosi.
But they did. People have. You know what I'm saying? Now they got that other guy coming in that pressed those charges against Trump 7 years ago. So Shrimp or whatever his name is. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, you know, I think what we're trying to say.
It's like I said, if Biden's son is guilty, he's guilty. But what does that have to do with Biden? Send him to jail. I don't care. I'm not beholden to anyone. If Trump is guilty, send him to jail. Why are we? If he grabs your daughter by the PUSSY, you want him in jail, right? If he raped your mother, you want him in jail, right? If he stole your tax dollars, you want him in jail, right? It doesn't matter who it is. And this is the problem. We have to stop being beholden to people we like. If Mahomes is out there raping little girls, he needs to go to jail.
Right. And that's the thing, though. See, but it seems like everything's pointed to Trump. That everything he's done has bad, but everybody else could get away with murder. Biden, Hillary Clinton with the laptop, Biden with the son, you know, negotiating with China behind the scenes. It's okay. They'll hide this. The media won't show that. It's, you know, it seems like a big propaganda. But they want to bring in Trump's kids. But they want to bring Trump's kids and put them to oath and tell the truth and this and that. Why Biden already has been convicted and known to do stuff like that, but they won't put it. He could get away with charges and stuff like that. But Trump's kids, they got to come testify, already accused. You know what I'm saying? They already want to drop the hammer on Trump's kids and stuff like that. Where's the evenness at? You know, nothing's being even right here. It seems like one against another.
I think it's personal. It sounds personal. I don't like that. It's like, damn.
Can I answer Denise?
Go ahead.
If Biden is hiding things for his son, this is the thing, and the same thing you said, Big D. We gotta stop doing this. What if he hide? He never said his son was. Biden isn't saying anything. He just hasn't said anything. So what is he hiding for his son?
Because the media and the media and everything else is for Biden, so they're not going to press him just like they didn't do Hillary. But Biden and Trump and his family, shit, they'll throw a raid at his house. You know, they didn't do it to Biden or Hillary Clinton, but they'll raid Trump's house. That's why I like Trump, because he's a gangster, dog. His family, and I hate to say it, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can relate to Humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all propaganda stuff. You know, it's just like, okay, let's get rid of the thug and let's blame him for everything and just let the other sucker go in for free.
To watch Independent. Why? Okay, so you said they didn't raid
They didn't raid Biden's house. They didn't go hard on Hillary Clinton with all her laptop, all her lies and everything. I mean,
This
come
is
on.
hilarious. This is kind of funny. Okay, this is when you guys have to start. Y'all sound like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, oh, such and
I'm
such
just
guy.
bringing up the truth. I'm not even bringing facts. I'm bringing up the truth.
Oh my God! Let me finish, please. Let me finish. I want to go into they
Didi,
raided
serious
Trump's
about
house.
this shit.
Okay, so
Go ahead,
so
Didi.
because
Let's
it's
talk
not
about it.
research,
Next caller. Next caller.
people don't research. All they do is know what they want to. What they only know their thing. Why they ask Trump over and over and over again, please give back these documents. He wouldn't give back the documents, and none of us would have known that they would
Taxes? His taxes?
tell people. But wait.
Are we talking about his taxes?
So, can I please finish this sentence?
Yeah, go ahead.
He wouldn't give back the documents. They gave him a court order and said, we need these documents. He didn't give them back. They knocked on the door. They did not raid. My house has been raided twice. There's a difference between being raided and walking into your house and saying, hey, you're going to have to give us this. Raid, stop using that word. Raid means they kick down the doors. If you have never had an AK pointed in your face, that is a raid.
That's what the media is saying. That's what even CNN says, like, oh, like they raided his house. Ooh, big old thing. They have said it too. Democrats.
Big D. So if you take documents for after being a president and they ask you for a year to give them back and he doesn't, and then they go and take them back because he was supposed to give them back, that is a crime. They're not picking on him. And when it comes to his children, yeah, I don't give a rat's tail about Biden's son. If he needs to go in and testify, go in and testify.
He hasn't, and they won't, because he has to exploit. He's going to rat his dad out.
I think Biden is doing the smartest thing ever. Don't make one comment about what your son is going through. Let your son do what your son is supposed to go through. If they want him in Congress, stay quiet. Don't say one word, because if your son is tax evading, his son has strippers, cocaine parties. I mean, if you look at the way he spent his money, oh my gosh, he had a great time. But if he's guilty of something, he is guilty of something. Biden needs to just stay out of that. Don't say one word. But nobody said anything about Kushner getting $2 billion from the Saudi Arabians. Why nobody talks about that? Why did he get $2 billion?
I think what it reverts back to is that all these politicians, whether Republican, Independent, or Democratic, they work with all these other nations doing scheming stuff to benefit not only their pockets, but what benefits them as freaking being a representative to tell you the truth, right? We could say Biden is a schemer. We could say Trump is a schemer. You know, they both all work together for their purpose. You know what I'm saying? There's some delegations and some negotiations that are beneficial for our country, and a lot of it's not, because it's all about filling their pockets, you know, Republican, Democratic, Independent, or so forth, Green Party, you know, whatever else. You know, let's not deny the fact, you know. So if one party is going to blame for something, then the other party should be blamed for something too. And that's the thing. If you look at it, these last 10 years, 15 years, it seems like now, especially when Trump has come in, you know, everything is a light on Trump, right? What he does, what he hasn't done, he said that, he's done this, he's done that. But everything else is just like, you know, they say he is bad for, you know, our freaking politician, our community. But at the same time, I think Trump has done more than what Biden has done in the last 4 years than what Trump has done. You know, stability, you know, growth.
Wait.
You know, hold on, let me finish. Our laws are upheld. And now you have somebody else that's coming in that want to take away from us, and it's just, you know, robbing us behind our scenes, and people are okay with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that, you know, me, you know, as a voter, you know, I have to be prepared to make the right decision to bring into, you know, the White House, because, you know, we could go back and see, like, hey, you know, how people, you know, they rated, see, it's everything that Trump did, but nobody wants to talk about what Trump did for our country that was positive. Everything about Trump is negative, and we shouldn't be bashing, you know, people, you know, our country and those who we represent, you know, because, you know, up how, you know, to tell you the truth, if Trump becomes our president, then what? You know, it's just going back to the same scenario, man. Like, oh, I hate him.
I'm gonna go back into that. Do you know that?
Same thing with Biden. Biden gets voted in again. Like, oh, we gotta go through this bullshit again. I think if Biden comes in again, we're going to war straight up, bro. If Trump comes in, we ain't going to war because Trump is ready to pull the trigger. Biden, he'll be sleeping, having cookies and oatmeal.
Oh my
You,
God.
you know what? Okay, this is so hilarious. So you do understand that the debt that we're in, 25% of it is because of Trump. Do you know that every recession has been because of a Republican president? You could just Google who. We all have phones, right?
Right.
Who,
Okay, hold on, DD, because the facts, the truth is not. We're not going by facts. We're talking about the truth. You know, the black community, even the black community is even the voting percentage has grown. The Hispanic, Latino community has really grown, and guess who they're voting for? That we want to talk about truth.
Let me intervene. I'm not on either side, but I will say this, DD. I don't know. It seems that even a lot of people I talk to, a lot of people just say they like Trump. I don't know for whether I don't know. I'm not on either, you feel me? But I hear a lot of people, mainly black and brown, saying they like Trump for whatever reason. I heard a lot of black people saying because we got money while he was there. I don't know. And definitely everybody is definitely behind Trump. So what do we do? Because it seems like, Didi, I know you're going hard, but what are we going to do at the end of the day? Because it seems like regardless, Trump, from what I see right now, I don't know. It seems like Trump is coming back, whether we like it or not.
No, I say they deserve him. I honestly say they deserve him so that they can get what they want, so they can find out that, because, you know, Trump rode on Obama's record for 2 years. As soon as he started implementing what he wanted to do, everything went downhill.
I don't know. He changed a lot of Obama's, legislation, and he changed.
Hold on, let DD talk, lady, because DD about to bust. She about to.
Kansas City's in the house.
It's gonna be like in a minute. It's gonna be like
Didi. When I see you, Didi, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I don't want no phase now. We don't.
No, it's all gonna be love. I never get angry, but I just want to say, Google what president.
Man, I don't even believe Google, man. Google lies too, shit.
And then I want you to go. No, wait, please, because Google tells us the truth. Google
not in all cases.
Party. What party sends us into recession? It's always going to be the Republican Party will send you into a recession. And what president had the best economy? It's sad to say.
Ronald Reagan came in and he changed our whole economy.
It was not Reagan.
I
did this on my show last night. It is not Reagan. Reagan did not have the best economy. It is the weirdo Clinton. And if you look at, when you pull that up, Trump is one of the worst. When he was in office, he was the worst. That's when you said do research, baby. You got to Google these things.
Well, I don't. To tell you the truth, Didi, I have to disagree on that one because, like as I mentioned, when everything was happening, the economy was revolving. There was stability. I'm looking for stability, not like 1970, not 1968, not 1888. I'm talking about the present right now. And you know what I mean? We could say this. It's funny because Obama ran on Bush's economy. So and so ran on this. So and so ran on that. It's just stir up right there. There's some truth behind it. But there's a lot of false accusations about it. Like I said, when you see a president go to a place that wants to cause war, you know what I mean, and he steps in their stomping ground, their territory.
No, it wasn't.
That says a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because now you look at North Korea, we're not even talking about politics no more. We're talking about World War III, where you know what I mean, where the world can end in some cases. We have to have somebody that's not sleeping and somebody that's really to address and answer the call. That's what we're at right now when it comes to gas, border, when it comes to politics, when it comes to taxes, when it comes to Biden. The Biden people are tired of Biden economics, because that don't even exist, to tell you the truth. Like you tell me, like you said yourself, you don't even like, Biden himself, but you support, I get it. You support the democracy, your Democratic Party and so forth. I get it. But if you're not agreeing to what Biden is doing,
he says he's independent.
I wanted Chris Christie to run. I am not a Democrat.
But at the end of the day, we know. But look, Didi, let me come in briefly, right quick. Again, I'm not on either. I'm in the medium. But again, I understand Didi is independent, and like you said, you want to vote for him. But the truth of the matter is, he's not going to make it. Period. So that we've got to talk about the real facts. And then at the end of the day, this is why I don't personally. Someone said, "Is this my idea?" No, it wasn't. You know what I mean? Big D, and then DD had her show the other night. She talked about it. Me personally, I don't do the politics things, not like on this level or religion, because at the end of the day, we see what's going on. DD, you can yell all you want and holler all you want, because I'm being real. But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, you're not going to stray how Big D or Denise or whoever feels. They're going to still feel how they feel for Trump. You're going to feel how you feel. We're not going to get anywhere. We're just going to argue. You guys are going to be fighting at the end. This is what I don't do religion. No. This is why I don't do religion or politics, because I know it ain't going to get anywhere.
Right. And that's another thing I want to address too before DD goes. You know what I'm saying? The thing about gun, our gun amendment and also religion. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand what's going on. They're not only affecting, what's happening on the outside, but what's on the inside too. And in the end, it's what makes the voters comfortable, to tell you the truth, on both sides.
You got an echo.
My bad.
Go ahead, bro.
So it seems like, again, 2024, it's going to be back. It seems like it's going to be a rematch between Biden and Trump. I hate to say it. Everybody knows that independent, Green Party, and all that stuff.
Yeah, we know. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's going to be Biden and Trump. Now, all the independent, we know we go independent, DD, but that ain't happening, DD. At the end of the day, it's going to be Biden and Trump, period.
Regardless.
Then you leave the people, especially the new voters, who are undecided or say, I don't like either one. They got to vote for whoever, or they're not going to vote, or they feel they're going to vote for the lesser evil. What does it? So at the end of the day, what do we got?
That's choices.
You have to think about. Someone said that their gas, they got to stop saying gas is $5. Someone just said they pay $3.75 for gas, and the gas prices. You have to understand. There's three major entities that determine gas prices, not the government. That's big oil. The government doesn't determine gas prices, and that's what people have to remember. The president. And right now, America is drilling more gas than ever before in its lifetime. Like I said, do your homework. And y'all don't like Gavin Newsom, which he's kind of creepy, isn't he? He's like that crazy politician, like he's a career politician.
What is he? A Democrat or Republican? What is Governor Newsom? What is it? Democrat or Republican?
Yeah, he's a Democrat, but his wife is a Republican. But he's like kind of slick. If you pay attention to him, he's real slick with it. So you kind of side item. But the things that he's done for California has been really good. When it comes to the gun laws, all my sons own a firearm. Everybody needs to be protected nowadays, especially in Los Angeles. So I believe in having your firearm and having it registered and everything. So, but they can't take that away. I don't think you need a semi-automatic.
They're trying to. They really are. They're really pushing that. And not only that, with religion too. Both of those things, they really want them off the amendment to tell the truth.
But that's the thing when people, the same thing I said, like when you say that, and that's your guy, anyone that comes to this country has to follow our religion. But he don't have a religion. He's not a religious man. I mean, every wife that you've had, you cheated on. And then impregnated somebody else. But my thing is, how can you say anyone that comes to this country has to follow one religion? No one should be able to have to tell you that. You can't tell me what faith that I have.
Ready to go to war, boy.
You for real?
DD, I think they need you in the office, DD. They need you over there, DD.
As an independent.
As an independent, huh? As an independent.
I believe in taking care of our old people. I believe in our medical system, don't get me started.
They said Biden is not godly either. I don't know who's who.
He's not. Everything is just perpetrated. You know what I'm saying? They give him a script, he's gonna say it. But when it comes to religion and everything else, he will tell you straight out that he follows another religion based on God's base, but something else. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Amanda from Texas. I know who she down with. Shout out to Texas.
That's true right there. Like what Amanda said. As soon as Biden came into, he closed the Keystone Pipeline. We have enough resources and elements to provide for our own nation. Why are we going over there to Venezuela, Russia, and everything else and buying stuff like that that's not even needed? We put all these other nations, into power, and now they're using their power against us. Well, look at Iran. Look at China. Look at Russia. They're using all our technology and everything else against us right now. Now, I'm really worried about for my, when it comes to war status, when it comes to, borderline, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to gas prices are high. You know, drug prices are higher. Everything else is just like, really, can you really believe that?
Oh,
And
no,
They say you owe $1,000, DD.
then there are people. See, the people are going to vote, right? Then they're going to speak their things. The only thing they have against Trump is just, oh, what he did, or what he did on that day, where you know they raided the Capitol and everything else.
And that's something else you have to give that old man credit for, because the drug prices came. He got the medication when the insulin brought down. My medication has come down, so no, medication prices has come down. So that's not true with the medication. But that thing you said about China, I've been talking about China for a long, long time. And
what did Kamala Harris say? Oh, did you guys see that there was a balloon flying over our nation? Ha 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 ha! Like, that ain't no joke. That is not our joke. That ain't no joke. That's nothing to be laughing at on public and everything. Like, taking it as a joke. Those are really threats that these other nations are really trying to do. No, they're already in Mexico using a incompetent nation that's not really, you know, aware of what the situation is, because they want money. So they rather just flood all the people. Did you know in the last 6 months that nothing but men and from different countries, not just Mexicans and Latinos, that we're usually, you know, used to coming over. We're talking about people from different nations that are coming in. We don't even know who's coming in. Almost a certain amount of million of people, 10 million people or something coming over our nation, and the borders open, and Trump and Kamala Harris like, hey, come down, sure. Hey, borders open. Now the borders closed because they invited, you know what I mean? They're starting to realize that, hey, this shit could be against us, to tell you the truth, and not knowing what's going to happen in 5 years because they allowed the border to be open. Trump was building a border, you know, stability to let people come in. The proper document, you know, the proper documents, you know, come into our nation through the front door. Don't go through the back door. And I'm speaking about, you know, my people, to tell you the truth, and they're not even involved coming over here. It's other nations, you know, Asians and so forth. I'm not hating on any other, you know, community and stuff like that, but it's just like, hey, we have rules over here. We have really rules over here to tell you the truth.
You keep bouncing from one subject to another before I can like talk about one subject, because I got my issues with the border also. But with the whole China thing and that balloon,
that's your guy right there. That's Mr. Biden. Open door, open border. Hey, you know what I mean?
Wait, Big D, you got ADHD like me. Wait, I'm gonna get to the border in a second, but I want to deal with the China thing and that balloon. One thing, I don't know why y'all kept talking about that on the news. Why you don't know that other countries watch the news the same way we do? That never should have been discussed on the news. Y'all just should have did what you had to do. And I don't know why someone said he was trying
it was Kamala Harris telling on publicly, hey, did you guys see the balloon?
Wait. Trump, I was going to say, Trump had them also come over here. The difference is they didn't tell us about it on the news when Trump had them come over. They just dealt with it how they dealt with it. Why isn't this administration want to tell us on the news that we had it over here? That was kind of stupid. I don't understand.
I'll tell you why. Because when you're invited, you come through the front door. When balloons are flying over and when they're not even discussed, that's called, you know what I mean, something. They're up to something.
I don't think they were invited. I think sometimes we give too much stock on certain things. But then I want to get to the border thing. When people keep talking about the border is open, I think that's like the dumbest thing in the world. I don't think it's open. I think what happened is
I see it on TV. I don't know what TV you're. I live in reality, DD. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? It's all over, you know, the news. Even CNN's reporting it, NSBC. You got people who voting for these on televisions, these shows, these networks that are on TV saying that's a bad ordeal right there. You know what I mean? And how's Biden going to recover? That's what the CNN, MSNBC, CBS, all them, they're saying that about Biden. Why is these networks, and let's talk about this, even trying to like slowly are moving away from Biden secretly, you know what I mean? It's little, because they already see what the future is already, and I hate to say it, Biden's not the one.
No, but see, this is the thing is you guys put your own spin and narrative on it, because in all truth be told, Obama was the worst president when it came to they said he was the president that had more deportations.
It's true. And guess who had to pick up the pieces from there? Trump.
So that means this problem has been around for a long time. And if you see, they tried to put a plan in place a long time ago. And when it comes to this, the one thing, because one thing people don't realize is Biden hasn't changed too much more.
We should have made this a debate tonight.
He's kept most of Trump.
Oh, politics right here, baby. Call in, baby. Call in, baby. He's throwing the number out there. Go ahead,
The
Didi.
only one that he changed was not separating the kids from their parents. That's the only thing. That's why I said Biden has handled immigration terribly. The only thing that he changed was not separating these kids at the border. From their parents. Everything else he kept that Trump had in place. So he did the same exact thing. So he did a terrible job also. Everybody has done a terrible job at the border. But the news media didn't talk about it while Trump was in office. They just talk about it now. The immigration has been terrible for years, since before Obama. So now we want to talk about it now because Creepy is in office. And y'all need to stop calling that man Sleepy. He ain't sleepy, he just a little creepy. But they didn't talk about it.
Hey, who was on the other day? I was on Jen Magana. Shout out to Jen Magana on her thing. And she had, I think it was, what's homeboy's name? The YouTube, he had his wife on there. And we were talking about how, Trump discriminates on women and stuff like that. She goes, I'd rather have Trump go down on me than to go something else.
Oh, man. Oh, my God.
She said that. I was just like, that was funny, bro. You know, I was fired on that one. Bah, bah, bah. You know what I mean? Were you on that? Were you on that, Pops?
No, I wasn't.
Denise was on that. That was.
I heard it. I wasn't on there though. I heard it. But look. Where? Okay.
This is the last thing I want to say.
Go ahead.
This is the last thing I want to say because I can't go in circles with people. A Trump supporter is going to be a Trump supporter. But the one thing that you guys really do need to research is Project 2025. And people say I love a dictator, and that you go ahead and love a dictator if you want to. But that's the one thing that Trump is going to fire. He's already got in the works to fire anybody that is not loyal to him in office. So if your auntie, your uncle, or cousin, or whoever had a job that and he feel anyone that he feels did not vote for him, if and when he gets back into office, they're getting fired. So he's already
fired.
Setting up concentration.
You're fired. You're fired.
Oh, they're fired. If you didn't vote for him, he's firing you, so that he can hire people that are loyalists to him.
That's what she said, right?
He can implement. And if you don't think January 6th was real, that's your prerogative. I sat and watched that in real time, so that whatever he wants to do, no one can tell him no. And if you think we're going to have an election again, there will be no more elections. So this is the one thing you have to be very careful. If you don't believe it, and I forgot to talk about it on Saturday's show, and like I said, Google Project 2025. And Big D, if you haven't Googled it, you believe in democracy, and you keep telling people to go out and vote, go Google Project 2025, because it's showing you step by step how he's going to change democracy where we are not. He loves dictators, and that is what he wanted. That's why he did not want to come out of office. That is why he's got 95 charges against him, because he wanted to overturn an election. He wanted to stay in office because he lost. Who loses to Joe Biden? Joe Biden never won an election except against Trump. So that is Project 2025. You didn't hear anything I said tonight.
I did. I know you're independent.
Serious. And that's what I say, Didi. You go hard. I just like, at the end of the day, I just like ask what like the people said. What do we? Okay, at the end of the day, where are we at with it?
Yeah, because my show was so nice Saturday night. I just wanted people to go out and vote for your Republican thing, because you're not gonna have it. And I said I was gonna go hard on the Democrats next time, because I got a lot about them I don't like.
Well, one thing about the Republican, especially the caucus, right? One thing about the caucus and everything, Trump is killing it, man. And I hate to say it, Biden. There's a lot of speculations from his own people.
He said he's killing it.
But again, you think he's out misinformation. He's not. You can't give out misinformation. That first
Wait, Didi, I'm not giving out false information. He won the New Hampshire caucus. He just won the Ohio caucus. I mean, he's killing it. You know what I'm saying? And you got people in the Democratic Party not even, they don't even trust. They can't. That's why it leaves you independent.
15% of Republicans came out to vote. That's not killing it. In the second one, Nikki Haley got 46% of the vote. If you are so killing it, how did that woman get 46% of the vote? Joe Biden wasn't even on the Joe Biden. They had to write his name in, and he got 46% of the vote, and they wrote his name in.
Okay, let me try this. It's rather a yes. Look at Didi. It's rather a yes or a no. Okay, let me just say this. Did he win the caucus and all three show-ups? Yes or no? Did Trump win?
15%
Okay.
of Republicans
There it
show up.
is. There it is. There it is. There. That's all that has to be said. That's the truth.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Because Kansas City just beat Baltimore, so a win is a win, regardless if it's by 1 point or 3 points.
Oh, this is going back to earlier, huh? This is about your football, huh? All right. Hey, you know what? Shout out, not to, hey, Edie, I'm gonna leave you like this. No shout out to Kansas City, but shout out to Taylor Swift.
Shout out to Taylor Swift. Hey, people out there, thank you, DD, for your input. We should have made this a debate, but my thing is, again, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone. No one is going to sway. I think people who feel they feel Trump and voting and they rock with Trump, they're gonna still rock with Trump, DD. If
And
you
that's the
feel
beauty of
like
it.
the people who feel, that's my point. So, like, at the end of the day, I don't know where we're going with this, man. Everyone is still gonna feel how they feel, and at the end of the day, where do we go when either thing goes? Because how it looks now, DD, regardless of how you feel or anyone feels, it looks like Trump is coming back. So after if he does, what do we do what do we do moving forward, Didi? Like, even for you, well, how you feel?
I said they get what they deserve. Oh, they get what they deserve, and then at the end of the 4 years, I get to say I told you so. It might not even take 4 years. I might be able to say that after 2.
But shit, nobody told me that about Biden. I told you so, because I found out my damn self, to tell you the truth, and I had no choice.
But again, I can sit and give you 6 things that he did in 2 years. That's why I said stop calling him sleepy. I think that was a facade, because look at all these bridges that are getting done. Look at the Wi-Fi. Look at the child poverty rate. Oh my gosh, are you for real? He brought medication down to $35 for insulin that used to be $250. How are you telling me he didn't do anything? How are you telling me?
Well,
are you for real?
I would hope when it comes to medication and the people of the United States, when it comes to, I'm glad he did that. Okay. But anything else after that, I can't see what he's done. Besides sleeping and eating his oatmeal cookies.
He's trying to do a border bill that he's been trying to get through.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, you know what I mean, there's starting to be a topic, and he stopped Trump, and now he wants to build a wall continuously on what Trump was based on. I mean, that's just contradicting himself. That's just me.
I think that wall is dumb, though. They don't even cut. That wall is so stupid they can climb over, go under it. They usually go under it. They don't come. That wall was just a dumb idea from the beginning on both sides. Come on, you already know that wall. And then it's so flimsy, they were showing people climbing over it.
Well, it's really not a dumb deal, because if you see California, Texas, and these other states, they're really getting swamped, really, with immigrants coming from all over, not just Mexico or South. It's not just Latinos. They're getting swamped, and now, like the New York governor, he's all upset because what's happening, the reality and his thing. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to reality and it's brought to your porch, then you start becoming a statistic. And, so people are starting to realize that, hey, we remember Kamala Harris when Biden said, "Oh, the border's open." Now look what's happening. Look what's happening.
I'm tired of, but it's not a wall that's going to stop that. It's walls that's going to stop that, and more agents. But I'm tired of this conversation. Love you, Big D.
I love you too, man.
That's why I said, in the day, we're not getting nowhere. That's why I don't personally.
It is, Pops, because the reality is like we could agree to disagree. I value, what Didi has said, and everybody else in the comments, whether they vote for Trump, whether they vote for Biden or they vote for nobody. That's what this whole purpose is. That's the freedom of speech, the freedom of will. We have that obligation. That's our God-given right. That's what the Constitution revolves. We got to remember the Constitution, and me, I just remember briefly in school, but I never freaking paid attention because I was into street politics, whether you live or die by it. And that's what I'm saying. There's politics everywhere you go. In my home, there's politics. Right. You know what I'm saying? What's right and what's wrong. Now, I give my wife and my daughter, they could vote Democrat, Independent, Republican. I don't give a damn, because that's their will. That's their freedom of choice. And that's what this is all about, I think, this night, is that, hey, you have the freedom and the will to do who you want to represent for yourself. But like Didi said, do your research on that individual and on that party. on that caucus, you know what I mean? And make that decision what's right for you. Again, I don't want people, oh, well, I'm not going to vote because it's all BS. Oh, I don't want to do this. But then again, you're complaining about certain things and topics because you didn't participate. Us as Americans, you know, we have that privilege and that honor. That's our God-given right here as a citizen of this nation. And we got to keep realizing when it came to Biden and Trump 4 years ago, look, it was the most voted, or one of the most voted things that happened in our nation. So people are paying attention. Now, for all you that are left out, is because you want to be left out. You want to be, you know, BSing on your own narrative and your own agenda. But then again, when you're paying for high gas prices, high property taxes, you know, you're complaining about this, complaining about, did you vote? Did you participate? That's what the whole thing. See, people don't understand, Pops. Me and you, we went out 4 years ago, right? Can we say that? Can we say that publicly? You know, we came out, I voted, and we gave our God-given right and our amendment, and I'm proud of that. I still lost. You know what I mean? I'm not happy with it, but you know what I mean? I dealt with it. See, no matter who comes in office, we got to deal with it. But don't complain when shit's not going your way. Don't complain when gas is fucking $10 and you know, when food, piece of chicken is, you know, costs, you know what I mean, a pound, and you're paying 60, 70 bucks when we have our resources right here.
Okay.
I'm just
this is the last thing I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
It doesn't really matter who your president is. You need to vote for your congressman and your senate because they're the ones who
that's even that part. You're local.
Yes.
Governor Newsom has to go. Caller.
All right, DD. Let me take this call.
Love you, DD.
DD. All right, we got a
call from Monica. Press 1.
Oh my God.
Let's go. What up, sis?
Hi, everybody.
What's
I just
up?
want to say thank you for everybody coming out and just sharing this time with us. But I was calling in because I wanted to give a testimony.
Okay, there we go. Let's
about concerning the politics. Okay. So I'm being growing up, as you all know. Okay, I'm gonna just say it. You know, I have a history in college. You know, and I have a lot of felonies. So I wasn't able to vote.
Me too. Yeah.
I wasn't able to vote for a lot of years. And every time I sat up in that cell and I seen the world, and, you know, I felt left out. I was like, man, like they took my right, you know, and being an American, being a citizen, I felt like I felt violated, you know, and when it was the time for me to vote and I got that chance to vote, I felt privileged. Because we got to always remember, despite of what's going on right now, we are a very privileged country. Because if you look at the other countries and everything that's going on right now, I mean, I really believe that we should start counting our blessings.
That's a fact.
You know, yeah, we do know that everything that's going on in life, there's good and evil. And I know you guys don't like religion. I'm not even going to go there because I can go there. But the thing is that I'm speaking for myself because I believe everybody has a voice, regardless, like my husband was saying, right or wrong, or right. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. It could be.
Well, there isn't no right or wrong. Tonight's topic, you know? There isn't really, to tell the truth.
Having our own opinion. Everybody has an opinion. And I love what my husband said when he said, Big D, when he said, we can agree to disagree. And that's what I love about Dee Dee, too, because sometimes me and Dee Dee, we have conversations, too. Right. And she has her opinion, I have mine, and that's good. And that's good because that's what it's all about.
Oh my God! If I find out you guys are talking about me, man, I'm gonna smash both of you guys.
No. So listen, you're losing me, but I'm not going to be here long. But I just wanted to call and share my heart on this politics situation. How I am very blessed and grateful to be in the country despite of the way it is right now. And, you know, and so that's the thing. Big D was talking, and this is another thing I was thinking. Big D was talking, I don't know about politics and all that, but this is just my opinion, okay, from what I get out of what I hear and everything that goes on in the news. I don't really watch the news because it's so depressing. Right. But the thing is, I get the info from Big D. Right. So the thing is that I just feel like despite what's going on, and, you know, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys.
No, you're saying I think mainly about people's opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're
Okay, so
privileged.
people's opinions matter. You know what I'm saying? And we're privileged
Yes,
to fight if we have difference of opinion. You know, and that's what this show's about. You can come on here and speak your piece,
There you
like
go.
G-Lew kept saying. My brother G-Lew, he kept saying it doesn't matter. People are gonna have people are gonna still vote for Trump, like he was telling DD, or people are gonna
Biden.
still have their own way about thinking about things.
Right.
You know, but the main thing, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this, okay? The main thing, and you know, this is not to offend anyone. Once again, this is about my belief. So just try it. Just try it. Maybe it's something. Challenge yourself. Just pray.
Right.
You know, pray for the situation. Yeah, pray. If you don't like it, pray. If you don't want to vote, pray. Because prayer, one thing I learned in my lifetime, this is my experience, my testimony, is that prayer doesn't just change something. Prayer changes everything.
Right. Babe, let me elaborate what Spanky said. It says, Big D, if there were sisters would have kicked you already. But it's crazy because even women are voting right now. You know, we're talking about the young. See, there's certain individuals, certain people that they're looking at, to tell you the truth. And it seems like Trump is hitting all cylinders, to tell you the truth, when it comes 40% for Latino vote right now. That is crazy. If you can't win the Latino vote and the African American vote, you got problems ahead of you.
He say he's killing it, our Big D. He's killing it.
He's killing it. And this is the thing, though. So what's going to happen, babe, you know, Monica, if Trump does win and things are good for the next 4 years? You know what I'm saying? What happens after that? What happens to – this is what I'm trying to get down to. We don't know. We already understand what Trump policies are, and we kind of understand what Biden Trump policies are. So like Pop said earlier, where do we go from there?
Yes.
So the reality is, the bottom line is, we're never going to know until it happens. The truth.
Or till you vote.
Voted for a certain person or that person, and they thought, because I know a lot of people who voted for Biden, and we were telling them, you know, we were sharing our opinion with them, they're sharing their opinion with us, and they're like, man, why do we even vote for Biden? They don't even want to be, they're like, oh, we're going to go independent now. But we were telling them back then about Biden. Not like picking sides or getting into politics, but the reality is we're never going to know till it actually, it's emotion. How are we going to know? We could say, we can think, we can, you know what I'm saying? But the reality is the person that's supposed to be, okay, here, it's right here. The person that's supposed to be in office is going to set what the Bible says in motion on God's time. This is not about man. This is about the bigger picture. Okay, let's look bigger spiritually. This has something to do with when that day comes. Right. It's just.
Well, that day is this year, to tell you the truth, man. In a couple months,
because the reality is, we're not God. God is God, and God's gonna be God, and God's gonna choose who He pleases.
Yeah, but even some of these politicians, and those are really not against.
At the end of the day, just have your heart ready. That's what I gotta say.
And vote.
Yeah, either way. Because I'm like,
either way, yeah.
I'm with you, sis. Like it was a time I couldn't vote, you know. So when I could, I definitely wanted to vote. Whether who I voted for, I wanted to vote because, like you said, it was a time I couldn't vote, and like you said too, it is a privilege, and we have to understand that. And like you said, other countries, man, it's hard. People get killed for voting for someone. You can get killed, like politicians get killed, like if they're not on the agenda of who you know what I mean. So it is definitely a privilege to vote, no matter who you vote for. You know what I mean? Just vote, and then we leave it in the people's hands. There it is. If the people decide to vote for Trump, and that's more of the average, and he wins it by a landslide, that's the people. Or the other way.
Let me tell you this. I got one. Sorry, brother.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you what Trump did for me. Okay, personally, do you know? At one point in my life, I have a 15-page rap sheet. Okay,
right.
At one point in my life,
what you do?
In my mind, I thought that I couldn't get a job because I had a record. Okay. And I went and ordered my whole rap sheet. And I told the Lord, I didn't test him, but I said, Lord, by faith, because it was a mindset that was a lie in my head. Like a lot of people think if they, not anymore as much now than back then when I first got out. And the thing is that I felt restricted. I felt limited because of my record and because I didn't want to get judged. And so one thing Trump did do, he took off where you have to check the box to say if you were arrested or a felon or not.
That's right, Traveling Charlie.
Okay.
Okay, so now that I go apply for a job, I'm not afraid. Even till this day, when I go apply for a job, there's no question saying, have you committed a crime or felony? Because if there is, that's against the law. You don't have to answer it.
Right.
And Trump brought that about.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Okay, you got to check with DD on that one.
Yeah. Fact check with DD.
I didn't know that. I know now they at least say 7
Yeah.
years. They don't just, mark you, you know what I mean, just bad. It's like 7 years of different things or whatever. But like I agree with that, Monica. You know what I mean? It's not they did make it to where it's different. They can't just, cut you out.
Unless you're a sex
You know
offender.
what
Lying.
Unless you're a sex
People are
offender.
gonna lie and say they haven't been convicted of a felony, and
Yeah,
then they
and
get
you know
caught
what
later.
happens?
And
Because
go ahead.
you know what happens when you do check the box prior? They prejudge you.
Right.
And they don't really get to know the person you are.
But they're
because
they're
you're
still
not
going
the
to check
person who
anyway.
you were.
But they're still going to check anyway, though, sis. Now, come on. But I do get that though.
Right.
It just depends where you apply, because let me tell you, the reason I applied, okay, one thing that they really
What's
check
that?
is when you work with children.
Right. Okay.
When you work with kids.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
They
right.
check your background. That's one of like, so I did this, I did that. See, I do things like just to how can I say that? I do things to test things. Like I do, I don't do it to, I applied for this children thing for kids that are autistic.
Right.
Because I was like, dude, if I go to like apply for a bigger job like that and because I don't know, like you said, Brother G, I don't know if they check or they really check or not. Like, I can't say that. I'm not there, but they have my information. They can check, even though, And so what I did was if I go apply for this job and see, because I wanted to see if I like to do that, to work with kids, because I love kids. And so I had to go get a screening, a scan, a worldwide, all this stuff you have to do, right? So I was like, I probably ain't going to get the job because they're going to see my record. And sure enough, I passed right through. And I was like, wow, okay. So, you know what I'm saying? And I do those things just to see what their strategies for me, because of hoops I got to jump through, not like all the regular people who don't have a record. You know what I'm saying? There's if somebody could get from A to B like easy, no, I got to go from, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then A again just to get to A. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the battle I fight on a daily basis when I'm trying to succeed, because people want to always push you down. And that's what I was saying earlier is about, yes, okay, president's done all this in the past, but how do you know they're not a different person? How do you know God didn't touch their heart along the way? How do you know they didn't find God through the process?
Right. And you got to understand one thing too, Pops, you know what I mean? Religion is based on politics no matter what, bro. That's just a high official, you know what I mean? No matter who says this or that. If they don't like it, then they can step out, you know what I'm saying? But, religion is one based on it, and that's how I know you're not keeping tab on reality. I live in reality, bro. Anything else, you're subsided to it, and if you don't like it, then you can step out, you know what I mean? That's the way it is, and that's what most people have done. They rather not deal with it because they don't want to get involved with it. I like to get involved with things no matter what it is, you know what I mean? If you're scared of it, then you need to tap out, If you don't like what's being processed or what's being shown, get out.
Talk your shit, Big D.
That's just the way it is. There's politics in the neighborhood. There's politics in your home. There's politics at job. I mean, we're revolved around politics. We're made to be governed by
on YouTube.
Well, yeah, it's
politics on YouTube. You rather go hear the YouTube yelling and shit, you know what I mean? Then you're in the wrong place. Go over there and deal with them, man. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't like what's being said, you know what I mean? It's time for you to go.
I'm going to go.
Thank you, sis. Love you. Thank you for your input.
Okay. I love you guys. Bye, everybody.
All right, thank you. Hey, anybody that wants to call in, the phone lines are open, man. Let's talk about it tonight. You know, whatever side you stand on, let's talk about it. And we need to get resolution. My thing is, like I said earlier, my thing about this is resolution. Where do we go? Because we know all day we're gonna go back and forth, back and forth. You're gonna believe who you in, they're gonna believe who they believe in, and it's just gonna be a fight. So where do we come in the middle? Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Because whoever's elected, we're still gonna have to deal with it, and still have to deal with whatever we got to deal with, and we got to come together. See, because if not, we're gonna be still like, where do we go from here? It's my thing.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's the union right now. That's the thumbnail, man. We're talking about real politics. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. If you're not into it, then you need to step out and go somewhere else, because everywhere else you want to talk politics, but step right here on the G-Lew show.
Uh oh.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
That's what we're out. But you
What
know,
do you
one
Big
thing
D,
about this.
let me say this one part, Big D, and I'll give it back to you. What I do see everyone at the end of the day saying, whatever side they're on, they're saying at the end of the day, God, we need God. Everyone, we need God, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we need God in our life. We need to pray. We need God as the final say. So overall, these politicians, presidents, governors, senators, mayors, where does God fall in this?
Controlling everything, bro. You know what I mean? It's a control everything. You know, so far, whether we like it or not, you know, God appoints those people, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, you know, to delegate and run, you know, the country. And that's what we're talking about. This country is based on religion and politics. That's first thing first. How you think we are governor? You know what I'm saying? How you think stuff is just based on, you know, we're trying to find the right person that's going to protect our rights. That's what it is, right? And whatever the matter is, and then we discuss and get to vote and reiterate what's bothering us and try to vote and make those solutions. You know what I'm saying? You know, I stand on Whittier Boulevard and Rose.
Shout out to Spanx.
Hey, Spanx, that was my first time getting shot right there in the corner right there, homie, in those apartments that are not even there now. To tell you the truth, if you want to talk barrio topics in politics, barrio topics and politics, you know, even in the neighborhood, when you go to county jail, you go to prison, there's politics, man. So don't come at me with that yip yap and this and that. If it ain't for you tonight, then check out, eh? You know what I'm saying? It's that easy. You know, that's what the homies will tell you. That's what your family will tell you. That's wherever you go. If you can't stand the heat, then this is not the topic for you, eh? You know, but we talk about real stuff right here. You know, we don't fake it. You know,
we don't fake it, homie. We just
fake it, homie. You know, I mean, that's just straight up, dog. You know what I'm saying? But in the end, it seems like a lot of people, it does matter, Pops, to tell you the truth. Why? Because people are voicing their opinion. You know what I mean? It says like, oh, we can't talk about religion or we can't talk about politics. Why not? Bother me, you know what I'm saying? So obviously it's a concern, you know, obviously, you know what I mean, it's a little thing to you stand by on and it might rub you the wrong way or the right way.
They said they just rebuilt it, Big D.
Oh, that's crazy, because that's where the first time I got shot was in that corner right there. Shout out to the homies from Vicky's Town, you know what I'm saying? They got me one, you know, it was my first time, you know what I'm saying? But you know, there's this. Hey, politics, you know, they ain't going nowhere, man. You know, this is the way our country has been governed. This has been happening since the beginning of time, right? All hell, you know what I mean? Caesar, you know what I'm saying? That's where it goes, you know, and they have a governor behind it because they want to control the people. And that's what I'm saying, you know? So, you know, don't come at me, you know, or don't come on here and say that, oh, it's about this and that, but you're here to stay. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, then, you know, it's time for you to step out, because there's politics wherever you go. Stuff has to be properly said, has to be properly governed, and things are not done right. You know, that's why this is the topic tonight. It's not being read. If you have an opinion, whether you want to be involved, then you'll vote. If you don't, then you won't vote. If you have a different opinion, who's representing you? Your local senators, how DD was saying, your local politicians and your governor, then, you know, then, hey, vote for them. But if you're mad about, oh, my gas prices are high, my property taxes are high, well, and you didn't vote, then, you know, you really don't mean nothing, to tell you the truth, because, you know, staying behind the scenes is one thing, getting involved and going straight up is another. And that's where we're at right now. And everything's welcome. Like I said, if you don't like to vote, they don't vote. If you voted for freaking marijuana, dude, everybody voted for that, right? Legalize marijuana. I mean, come on. Right? It's just like, come on, dude. It's common sense. So
it's funny for the people that say they don't do this and do that, but you find them doing it anyways behind the scene or when nobody's looking. Do it when somebody's there. Like I said, me and you, Pops, 4 years ago, bro, we made this run. Remember, me and
Yes,
you
sir.
voted. We're not just talking about today's politics. This is something that's continuously. That's how long we've known each other and we've been doing it. We've been keeping it real from that point.
Yes, sir.
That's where we're at. We're not telling you to vote for Trump. We're not telling you to vote for Biden. We're not telling you to vote for anybody. All I'm trying to say,
vote. Like the homie Big Sag said, if you don't vote, don't you complain.
There you go. That's right. That's right, Harvey Hayfield. That's right. For a Sag, you know what I mean? That's the truth right there. I get it. Let me see what Brandon politics is the process of making decisions that apply to members of a group or society. It affects every aspect of our lives, from the laws we abide by to the public service we rely on. Man, Brenda Love.
Shout out to Brenda Love.
Shout out to Brenda Love, man. That's a woman right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's a hot topic right now. Women voters, the young college voters and so forth, man. That's just what it is. And like I said, we're not trying to change any. DD didn't come out trying to change us. DD, what's our homegirl Denise? She didn't come out trying to change anything. She's just based on how they feel, and we validate people's opinions on this channel. Yes. We validate people's their feelings when it comes to here. That's why the G-Lew show and the Big D Keeping It Real. You come in our segments. We're just trying to be as honest as we can. And if you don't like it, hey, it's acceptable. I'm not mad at you. I'm not trying to say this, but if you're not participating, somewhat you're a hypocrite or you just lying to yourself. Don't do that.
I hear I used to hear that too. A lot of people that were complaining, and I asked them, well, did you vote? And they say no. So I don't even think,
but they hate Trump.
Have a voice. So I just think the voice, period. I don't think people need to even speak if you don't even vote. You know what I mean? I did say I agree with that. If you don't vote, I don't even think it's an opinion. Or if you do have an opinion, just keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself, you know what I mean? Don't try to change the narrative, dog. You know what I mean? You're lying to yourself. That tells me a lot about you, you know what I mean? But then again, it's just you're the open book, not me, I'm just on the inside looking out, you know what I mean? Looking at you. But again, that's okay because, I'm going to base my judgment about certain people is just based on that, and I hate to say it, that's how we do on people's actions, nothing more, nothing less. And like I said, we're just having a simple debate. If anything, we could say, there it is right there. If anything could be said, just go out there and vote. Like I said, it's not, you don't vote for it. You have even an option not to even vote for president or whatever. You could vote for your local community, government, state stuff. You know what I mean? What, do you want more road work? Do you believe in freaking more schooling and this and that? Vote for the simple things that apply, like how Didi and everybody else is saying. Change your community at least. If you don't want to vote for a president or a party, don't. But if you could come in and just say, hey, I'll vote for marijuana, freeway fixings, CalFresh and so forth.
I agree with that part, Big D, because that'll cut out a lot of because like I said, the arguments and all that. And that's why you just vote anyway. But even if you don't believe in Trump or you don't believe in Biden or who else, vote for the other things, because really those are things that affect you directly anyway. So I would advise
property taxes
for me as well, because a lot of times, again, we don't do our research on your local politicians and the people that directly affect you directly. And you just go in there and check off anything. You don't know who you're voting for. So I would just advise people to do your research. It's bigger than Trump and all that. Even if you don't like Trump, whatever, vote.
Bigger than politics.
Yeah, look at other things to vote for, but just vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And that's what it is. Like I said, man, we're just trying to be a split image of the community. That's what this show is all about. That's what my panel is all about. Letting everybody voice their opinion, whether I agree with it, you agree with it, they agree with it or not. But everybody's when it's directed towards you, you have a saying, right? Everybody wants to say something, but when it's not directed to you, you think you could speak for somebody else in your other communities when you can't, because it all reflects on your vote only. That's it. You can't represent me or represent this person. That I don't represent anybody but myself and my family. I can't tell my wife to vote for Trump. You know what I mean? That's her liberation, her God-given right to do that.
And you got people that stand on, because you could have someone that may not, like the homie said, may not like Trump initially, but they stand on certain things that they stand for, and people are serious about certain things. You know what I mean? Like the homie said, he stands with Trump for the gender law. You know what I mean? So it's certain things people may stand on with people for certain things, you know, and that's important. People, women, you know, abortion, the pro-life, and all that. It's people that really stand on certain things,
all
bro.
that, all that, man. So we're trying to cover a little bit of everything, not just based on Trump, not just based on Biden.
He wants to see the paperwork. Big D wants to see the paperwork.
Monica, Big D. Oh man, you know what? It's sad to say, dog. You know, because I saw it, dog, because we had to do a live to go into, you know, the county jails and stuff like that. We had to show our whole background. So she said she had so many pages rap sheet, and I thought I was gonna beat her. I only had like 3 pages of rap sheet, and she had 13. But
real one, sis, a real
one. But mine's dealt with heavier, you know, charges than which accumulate to all the charges she had, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? So, but in all reference to that, there's equality. It doesn't matter how many crimes I've done. You know, it's no matter what, we still went to jail and we paid the price for it. You know, and you know, it was just like, that's the thing. What Monica was referencing to is just like Trump has opened up things for people who have felonies and stuff like that, because people have changed their lives. People have changed, you know, their background and so forth. So we shouldn't be convicted of things that we've done in the past, especially we're making changes in the future. It's like people who come.
I'm saying that's a good one right there. What do you think about that? Because sometimes that's a heavy one. That electoral college, that shit gets tricky right there. What do you think about that? She said, shout out to Deandra, changing the game tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Tune in. But
shout out to Deandra. There you go.
She said they need to do away with the electoral college. What do you guys think about that?
In some sense, you know, they really do, because, you know, you put a lot of these, you know, look what's happening to the colleges right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of pro Muslims that are, you know what I mean, are trying to, I got to choose my words wisely right here, you know, that are demonstrating and think they could change our culture and our history of America, so forth. And that's the way it has been dealt with. So you got foreigners coming from different communities, or people that are born here who want to change what America is all about. And that's not what, you know, based on what America is and our standards and so forth, because of what their narrative is. And that's what in some sense, whoever disagrees, we got to pay attention. Whoever agrees, then they got to pay attention too. So that's where it comes down to in reality when it comes to politics, is paying attention and vote who's best for you. Like Pops just said like 10 minutes ago, is just that you don't have to vote for Biden or Trump, but, you know, do your local voting in your community, in your state. Sure. If you're worried about, you know, gas prices and mortgages and the tax rate and this and that, then like DD said, you got to do your homework, man. You know, I'm not here to change or to tell you what to do in your narrative. I would never do that. You got to be smart enough and to know your own privilege right as an American to do that. And if you don't know your privilege right as American, stuff like that, Monica said she didn't even know, or she found out what Trump did for those who have felonies and charges and stuff, then you're not paying attention. In some sense, I got to hang around with people that have some sense. You don't have to have all senses, but you got to have a little bit what's going on. You know what I'm saying? A little bit.
That Trump's worth is $2.6 billion. Trump is a big dog out here, man.
But that's before he became a politician, homie. He was a businessman before that, bro. You know what I mean?
Way before. And to be truthfully honest, a lot of people were his friends. You know, I see a lot of old stuff where people were hanging out with, you know, were cool with Trump. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not, you know, I'm just like, I don't know, but at the end of the day, I think overall what I do see with the people just want better
change.
They want better change, and what I am seeing again, I just see a lot of people saying that they like Trump for whatever reason.
Is it just me, Pops? Is it just me?
I know I'm seeing this every day. You know what I mean? I talk to people and I hear people saying this, whether people are even knowing or not, or even know what they're
talking about. Can I ask you a question, Pops? Can I ask you a question? Yes. Is it based on your community or just everyone you know?
I'm seeing it depends who you ask, but I'm seeing mainly for most people and people that we know, like homies and stuff like that. They feel that Trump, they feel for whatever reason, man, they feel like, man, they got a better shot with Trump. Yeah, that's what I'm just seeing in the streets, man. You know.
Never that, Tally.
Oh, Telly's a comedian. Well, I don't even see what Telly probably. Telly is a comedian. Oh, what do you say? American Cholo Gill is running for something, but I would never vote for him. Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, hey,
Yeah,
those who
man.
vote for him, it's all good. I ain't hating on the voters or AC to tell you
Oh
the
my
truth.
God.
Me personally, I
God.
just don't agree, and I wouldn't vote for him at all. You know what I mean? You
Oh,
could take that to the bank. You know what I'm saying?
oh my God. Hey, shout out to Telly. Telly is a fool. He says, I appreciate this kind of dialogue, education. Yeah, at the end of the day, this is great dialogue, and like you said, we need to have these talks. My thing is with it. That's why I let you guys. Big D is pretty much running this show, and I know Didi stands firm on how she feels. She had a show the other night. If you missed it, go back and check it out. But I stand in the middle because I just know, I just see. The chaos, even with when you talk about things like this. But like you said, Big D, it needs to be talked about. But the problem is, I just see the chaos whenever you talk about religion or politics, it goes haywire. People be ready to fight. People be ready to fight, homie. So I just
in other words, I'm not afraid to talk about the Lord, because God says if you're afraid of Him, and He's gonna be.
I'm just saying on a broad when you bring it
politics, you know what I'm saying? But these are the topics right here, you know what I mean? These we're open to delegation and your opinion. I'm not going against anybody and everybody. We're not saying that here or on my channel or those who support us. Is that, hey, when you do your search, like I'm not telling Didi or would change her, you know what I mean? She left off laughing, Denise left laughing, and they know what to do on their hearts. It's based on, I'm going to support Denise and Didi what she wants. She wants to vote for Biden, and she wants to vote for, you know what I mean, the independent. Hey, I support her.
Like Biden. So that's my thing too. At the end of the day, she don't like Biden, and a lot of people don't either. They'll say, I don't like Biden either.
That was a straight up answer right there. And that came from Didi.
Biden is who you got. So you're gonna vote for Biden or not, and then so it's like
hate on Trump. Don't vote for Trump. Talk crap about. Hey, I respect it. Hate on the Bengals. Hate on the Raiders. I respect it. There's haters. We already know there's haters and trolls. You know what I'm saying?
Even with sports, even with everything. That's why I think
there's politics.
That's why again this country. But that's why, again, this country is great in a sense because people can't have their own opinion. Other countries, you can't have it.
Right there.
If someone finds out you don't like Trump for whatever, just say we're in another country, they coming to get you, my boy. So this is the beautiful thing is that we do have an opinion, and people can voice it.
Vote or not. You could vote or not. That's the beauty of it, man. And
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. But we've been on for 2 hours strong. There's a lot more that I want to talk about.
We might have a part 2, my boy.
You might have to because
this is going on the whole year. Voting, we got months all year. Yeah.
I think we'll have another. I'll talk to you back on that, but not right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not right now. I think we kind of like itched a couple people's opinion. But like I said, we're not here to change your opinion. We're not telling you what to do or who to vote for or what to vote for. It's the thing is whatever's in your heart, that's what it is. Because in the end, it all does matter. And we are all in one nation under God. Let's not forget how we grew up, talking about, religion and everything else was even safer, to tell you the truth, respecting our flag and all that. Now our nation, because of these purposes or whatever the reason is, even that part, I ain't saying it's good or bad, but we get to, delegate and vote for who we want and what we want. That's our privilege, right, as Americans. So remember that. If I could leave you with anything tonight, remember, if you're born here and you have a right to vote, and it does make an opinion, whether it's college, whether it's this, whether it's that, Green Party, Boston Tea Party, whatever, Republican, Independent, Democrat, we have that privilege. And if you could, go in the dictionary or understand what the word privilege means, it's your right. It's given to you already. And so take advantage. Like how Smokey says, take advantage, man. Take advantage.
Take advantage.
Take advantage, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Oh, no.
And you know this, man.
There we go.
Oh man, what a night though, man. I didn't think it was gonna go 2 hours strong, baby. You know what I'm saying?
This was dope though. This was good.
We'll run it back again, people. We'll see. Because let me tell you something, this is just the beginning. The race has already begun. And if that's what I'm saying. So, Pay attention. Stand up for what you believe in. Like I said, right now, we're not trying to change your narrative. This is just a G-Lew show. We're just a YouTube channel, that's just discussing opinions and that matter, whether it's sports, in your household, religion. We can't shiest away from it. That's what we do. We talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Big D froze up. There he is. Okay.
No, you did.
Oh, I did? I don't know what happened. That's a good and bad thing. Okay, man.
But much love, man. We're all respect there. Like I said, we're 2 hours in it. Let's just support one another. Let's not, no conflict, no hate, no rage. Much love to everybody, man. From JoJo to Godness, Nae, to Brenda Love, Love and Grace, DD Hairston, Lena Lokes, Spanky, Denise Castillo, Harvey Hatfield. I mean, all these guys. Go ahead.
No, I said Denise said, "Catch me outside."
I don't want to do that, dog. Actually, I'm a little scared of Denise.
Oh my, yeah, Denise. Hey, yeah, Denise is a G.
But like I said, man, Love and Grace, JoJo, all those who came across and came tonight and support, Traveling Charlie, and gave your opinion. Those who called them, my wife, big shout out to Didi, big shout out to, Denise Castillo and everybody else. We're not trying to, Alia, like I said, everybody who's came on here and supported us, man. Let's just keep supporting the narrative, keep running it. Pops just said it like 20 minutes ago. It's like I really don't run the show. I come up with a lot of topics on here, to tell you the truth. And but like based on that, man, we could agree, disagree. Then this is G-Lew's platform, and like I said, let's just keep supporting. And we love y'all, man. We love you. Hey, I don't care if you hate it, you don't like the dialogue, you don't like the content, this and that. Hey, we still love and respect it because your opinion matters. If you don't want to talk about this, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not gonna, be part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. This night, just this night.
That's a fact.
I mean, if you don't like politics, then don't come in. If you don't like sports, don't come in. If you don't like religion, don't come in. We ain't looking for. We don't really having no trolls yet, and hopefully we don't have none in the future. That's why we say it's an open base, and we respect y'all. You guys are all family, to tell you the truth, and we're not trying to lose family. We're trying to gain family. We're trying to build a family here. And as you can see, and you've been hanging with us, rolling with us, our community is growing. So, we're not here to put pressure on anybody. We're just here to speak what we believe in, and hopefully you guys, could go based on your beliefs. And that's what we respect, what you guys believe in, not what we believe in, but your choices. If you don't want to vote, you don't like it, hey, more power to you. But don't complain when shit's going wrong and you know who's behind the panel. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Do your research, people. The main thing I take from this night, do your research and whatever, because a lot of people come and just talk and then don't even know kind of what they're talking about sometimes. So it is important, whatever you're doing. That's what I respect. I do respect about Didi. Didi came, she was pushing her line, but she had her research, and Denise, everyone had their facts and what they were standing on. So
there's a number. You guys have a free choice to say what you want or this and that. We ain't trying to hold anything back. You know what I'm saying? It's been a hot topic. I hate to tell you, there's a lot of YouTube channels in the last couple of weeks. They've been talking about, politics and, everything else, because this is the year. The race is on. Let's not shy away from it. Let's just dab into it head on. Straight up. There's no right or wrong when it comes to this tonight, or when it comes to voting and stuff. Hopefully I could see when we did like 3-4 years ago, me and Pops, we shown that, hey, we're voting and stuff like that. So this is not just something that we brought up. I mean, shit, I don't know how it is for you.
Shit, we did it. I think we did a show too, right? Yeah, we did this, man.
Okay. So, I don't know base. Okay, we're going to end it like this. I don't know base how 4 years ago when we voted and then Biden came in, I don't know how you feel. Everything's been about everybody. How do you feel since, we voted that things have been handled for the last 4 years? Real quick. Do you approve or disapprove? No disrespect. No disrespect to the party or whoever you say, but
Big D?
How do you feel from the time we voted to where we are now? Be honest.
I don't feel anything. I don't know.
Be honest, homie. Be honest. That's
anything.
I'm not laughing out of
anything because the last election.
Yeah, dog, it's real.
I will say I don't have all the dots into, like, I can't go and pull out paper. Like I can't get on here like Didi and pull out all the receipts and shit. But overall, I don't see nothing. I'm gonna keep it real.
And that's where we're gonna end it at, people. I didn't really see nothing at all. And that's where that's just our opinion. Now, if you like Biden and you want to, hey, run it, man. Vote for him. Be proud when you do it too. Don't be scared. You know what I mean? Show it, demonstrate it, live it, walk it, talk it. That's just the way it is. That's how we do it. When me and G-Lew went, we voted. We just showed that we voted. We didn't say who we voted for or what we just showed that, hey, we were.
Right, I'm gonna keep it real. I did vote for Biden. I'm gonna keep that shit real. You know what I mean? And Kamala Harris, but I'm gonna keep it real too. Like I just told you, I haven't seen anything change. And then as far as Kamala Harris, I ain't seen her at all. I'm gonna keep that part real. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, hey.
Look, I have people coming out. They want a part 2. To be honest with you, this is the time to do it, people. Like I said, you know, when you see that uña, when you see that title and all that stuff, you know, tap in, man. You know, and come in with do your own research. You know, and we'll talk about it because this is the time where this is the year to vote, 2024, and we're gonna see what happens. All I know is that war's around our corner. You know, there's a lot of things that are being broken, and there's a lot of stuff that's, you know, that's supposed to be solidified and protecting our nation, our people, and stuff like that. I would hate to see somebody from another country come. You hear that story, and they're not supposed to be here, and they kill you for whatever reason, you know, because whatever reason you slip through the system, right? We heard that before. You slip through the system, and you were out there in our, you know, country illegally, and they end up killing you. I mean, would you be mad then? Like, goddamn, they killed DD, man. I just said this, you know what I mean? But they have open borders, you know what I mean? I ain't saying that DD, you know, they killed me. You know what I mean? They killed Big D.
Everyone's telling me, oh no, they feel bad for me. Damn. Okay, man. All right. Maybe I should have said that. But we just keeping it real. I'm keeping it real that I didn't see anything though, too. So I ain't saying maybe it wasn't a good thing. But I'm just saying at the end of the day, where do we go from here? Do your research. What I'm gonna do this time though, when I do vote, I'm gonna focus more on the local, like I said, the local things and all that, because I didn't do my research on that. I just really went in there and voted president, you know. So I'm gonna do my research more on all of the topics and the things I'm voting for specifically.
And that makes a big impact, Pops. You know why? Because you come from a different state right now, and those states have a lot of allegations against Trump. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the importance is. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta, Georgia has a lot of allegations against Trump right now and stuff like that. So, you know, to hear from your side where you're at and how you vote, hey, more power to you, man. Like I said,
I'll be in California when I vote this time, dog. So, you know what I mean? So, hey, you know what I mean? But hey, yeah, I feel you though. But again, do your research, people. That's the main
your homework,
thing,
man. You know what I mean? If you're not on the Big D Keeping It Real and G-Lew show and you're not tapped in, then, you know, we can't carry you guys, man. And don't be mad at us because what we say. Be mad because what you're not saying. Straight up, eh?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Keep it real, dog. You know what I mean?
Real, my boy.
But that's what we do on Monday nights. You know, let's talk about it, man. It's a beautiful thing, beautiful night. You know, I couldn't have said it any better, man. For all you people who tapped in, man, it was, you know, made it a little hasty here and there. But we're just trying to cover, you know, stuff that's really happening in the world. Like I said, I live in reality. Eh? Everybody else, you know, I don't know. I can't speak for yourself, man. And it doesn't really matter where you come from. I respect everybody's opinion, and that's what it is, man.
That part in that order. Big D, make sure you follow Big D and his channel, Big D Keeping It Real. He has a YouTube channel. Man, he's doing his thing. Make sure you follow him. Follow him on Instagram as well, Keeping It Real. Make sure you follow DD Hairston, DD Hairston 100. She also has a new food channel.
And tomorrow, hey, Pops, do me a favor. You know, tap into all your channels Monday through Friday. What's going on tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow we have our new show on Changing the Game with Deandra Chanel. You seen her in the chat earlier. We got a big show tomorrow, and we got a big show tomorrow with a lovely lady. Make sure you guys tune in to that tomorrow night. Wednesdays. Well, Wednesdays I'm on my radio show. I'm not on YouTube. Check out our radio show, Blog Talk Radio. We're going on 11 years now. Blog Talk Radio, me, Queen Jean, Cousin Marcy. Make sure you tune into that. And then we'll be back here on Friday for a new interview. We got a new interview this week, man. Check it out on Friday night. And then Saturday, Conversation in the Hookah Lounge.
Hookah Lounge, baby.
Oldies Rule Forever Sunday, #1 show on Sundays. And then we'll be back here on Mondays to talk about it, homie. You know, thank you, Big D.
And no. Like I said, people, it's a cycle, man. You know, if you didn't tap in this week, tap in next Monday. If you didn't tap in on Tuesday, tap in next Tuesday, man. Let everybody else know. Like I said, we're a family. We're a growing community here, you know. Yes. There's no hate on this side, you know. There may be we can't agree to disagree. You know, we're humans, you know what I'm saying? Right. And but in the end, you know, I love everybody, respect everybody here, to tell you the truth. And shout out to all the supporters and all you who subscribe, all your subscribers, you know, who from here to across the states to across the world, man. That's what we're trying to do, reach the world, because opinions, they do matter. You know what I'm saying? They really do. So I just want to say thank you all for coming in tonight. Love and respect. You guys are my family. You guys are my community. I love y'all. You know, and with that being said, you know what it is. Not how I came in, it's how we leaving, the same way.
Ciao. Love y'all.
Respect, Pops. I'm out.
Respect, homie. Let me see. Hold up. Someone requested this. Let me go out with this. I thought I could.